Chapter 101. One day, Yang Dong accidentally discovered that the information received from her mother Ye Wenji's computer had a very high level of encryption, which aroused her strong curiosity. But those decrypted information files were not put into the file shredder, but simply deleted. Like all elderly people, her mother Ye Wenji is not familiar with computers and the internet. She does not know that even if the hard drive is formatted, the information on it can be easily restored. So, Yang Dong did the first thing in his life that he did behind his mother's back, and restored the deleted information on the computer. There was a lot of information. Yang Dong read it for several days and learned the secrets of his mother and the three-body world. She was almost knocked down by shock. Her mother, who depended on her for life, turned out to have another identity as 280. And the kind of person she couldn't even believe existed in this world. She didn't dare to ask her mother, not at all, because if she did, her mother might really become a different person. Let the other person keep his secret, while she pretends that her mother is still her original mother, and life can go on. Definitely, this kind of life only has half a life left for her. And these two things add up to a life. The heavy blow defeated Yang Dong in an instant, leaving her with a death wish. Yang Dong stood on the balcony on the top floor of the control center, overlooking the accelerator that had stopped running. The circumference of this accelerator is 20 kilometers. From her angle and height, she can just see Chen. This accelerator was not built in an underground tunnel as usual, but was placed in a concrete pipe on the ground. It looked like a huge full stop in the sunset. What is the full stop? I wish it were just physics. Just when Yang Dong was about to jump off the balcony and end her life, a hand held her. She turned around and looked at the person who stopped her from committing suicide with her lifeless and calm eyes, which were like a pool of stagnant water. She was a foreigner and a very beautiful white woman who looked very young. She looked at the other person but didn't speak. And that woman is the real phantom that Evan embodied in the image of Wanda. Evan appeared here half a planet away, controlling this real phantom. I have met many people. Some of them encountered obstacles that they could not overcome and finally chose to commit suicide. But there are also very few cases where those who choose to commit suicide did not actually understand the full truth of the matter. They only believed what they thought. In the end, he died of his own self-righteousness. The real phantom speaks standard and fluent Mandarin, the kind of Beijing movie, but it doesn't look out of place. While the real phantom was speaking, he noticed a line of sight in the air, falling on him. Looking out of the corner of his eye, there was nothing. The real phantom immediately determined that the line of sight whose source he could not see came from S.H.I.E.L.D. Unfortunately, the real phantom is just a phantom with a collision volume, and there is no supervision. Apart from feeling the line of sight falling on itself, it is impossible to see S.H.I.E.L.D. because it is too small. You have no idea what I've been through. Yang Dong's words were lifeless. The true phantom does not represent itself as knowing everything, but says, I really don't know what you have been through, but some things are actually not difficult to guess. Judging from the way you are dressed, you should be a scientific worker here. The people who can work here and dress like you are, at least I have a doctorate. It stands to reason that intellectuals like you have a more thorough view of the world and a more rational way of looking at problems. It is difficult to imagine that people like you would choose to commit suicide. But although it is difficult to imagine, if you reason deeply, there are just a few situations. Either science originally has a big problem, or your family has a big problem. Yang Dong remained silent, which was regarded as acquiescence. If you believe me, don't rush to commit suicide today and go back to sleep. I guarantee that when you wake up again, everything will be different. After the real phantom finished speaking, he turned around and left. Standing on the balcony, Yang Dong was silent for a long time. She did not continue to commit suicide. Although she did not think that a sleep would dispel her suicidal thoughts, she planned to try. The real phantom of Wanda's image left this control center. Its super intuition can feel it, and Tomoko is right next to it to monitor it. Then, it disappeared out of thin air under S.H.I.E.L.D.'s surveillance. The Trisolarans here are monitored through S.H.I.E.L.D., showing a black question mark face. How could such a big person disappear out of thin air? And he disappeared so much that even Tomoko couldn't be found? The Trisolaran person responsible for monitoring immediately reported the matter. That night, Yang Ke fell asleep. Drowsily, Yang Dong woke up again. She found that she was no longer in the previous dormitory, but in an ordinary dormitory. Her eyes, which were like a pool of stagnant water, caused some waves. Yang Dong sat up and found her clothes on the side, so she got dressed and got up, walked to the window and looked out. Visible outside the window is a spacious playground. On the other side of the playground stands a strangely dressed white woman. She stands there with her eyes closed, as if she is feeling the harmony and beauty of nature. That strange person seemed to feel Yang Dong's gaze. He opened his eyes and looked at the window in the dormitory area, and waved to Yang Dong here, motioning for her to come over. Yang Dong silently left the dormitory, came to the playground, and walked in front of the white woman. The woman spoke first. "Welcome to Crimson Magic Academy. My name is Lenora, and I am the magic instructor of this academy." Magic. As a scientist, Yang Dong does not believe in magic. All unknowns are just areas that science has not explored. This is the imaginary number space located at the angle between reality. The time at 5.0 is in a state of expansion. Before dawn outside, you can study here for a month. If you can pass the assessment at that time, you will be granted permission to come and go here at any time. NPC Lenora said slowly. "I don't believe in magic, unless you can show it to me." The waves in Yang Dong's eyes are more obvious, not because of magic, but because of the time dilation here, which aroused her curiosity and guessed whether it was true or false. "I won't perform any magic for you, I will only teach you the knowledge of magic bit by bit, because you need to break your rejection of the truth by yourself, so consider this as a test." Lenora say this. Lenora knew very well that even if she performed magic for Yang Dong, the other party might not believe it. Rather than that, it is better to teach the other party the knowledge and let the other party verify it by themselves. Chapter 102. Lenora spent half a day teaching the meditation method of communicating the source of Evan's magic power to Dr. Yang Dong. But Yang Dong thought this was ridiculous and didn't even meditate as the other party said. Compared with non-scientific superstition, she still cares more about whether this place is really in a state of time dilation. She walked towards the outside of Crimson Magic Academy. But as Yang Dong approached the boundary of the college, she saw a layer of fog. This layer of fog, like the border of the world, blocked her path forward. Yang Dong tried to walk into the fog, but soon found himself back again. She turned around in disbelief and continued walking into the fog. But no matter how she walked in the fog, she would eventually come back like a ghost beating a wall. She pinched her arm. "It hurts, this is not a dream." So what kind of science should be used to explain this phenomenon? Is it some kind of magnetic field that can affect the human cerebellum's perception of direction? In other words, this isolation will naturally form between the time expansion zone and the outside normal time flow zone? She spent half an hour unable to get out, so she could only turn around and change directions. Then she discovered that the borders of this magic academy were shrouded in this fog, and she could not leave here at all. Until noon, Yang Dong's stomach growled due to hunger, so she walked to the school cafeteria. She found that the cafeteria was a buffet and she could get whatever she wanted. There was a lot of food here, but she was the only student here, which made her feel like it was a waste. After lunch, Yang Dong returned to the dormitory. Since she couldn't go out, she could only give it a try and follow the meditation method to communicate with the source of magic. Just think of it as passing time. Gradually, Yang Dong, who was in a meditative state, realized something. It seemed to be an extremely vast ocean of energy. As the meditation continued, part of the energy in the energy ocean was diverted and flowed into her body, and was automatically imprinted with her magic power by the meditation method, so that this part of the magic power could be repeatedly recycled by her. Yang Dong opened his eyes. Her eyes were full of inquiry. She raised a hand and tried to mobilize the energy in her body to her hand, and succeeded easily. Although the magical energy is invisible and colorless, it emits a faint light that she can clearly detect. Is this magic, or is it just a special kind of biological energy? According to Lenora, after this energy is released outside the body, no matter how far it escapes or how long it floats, it can be recovered without any loss through meditation. Yang Dong no longer controls the energy in his hands and lets them escape naturally. A moment later, she used the meditation method. In just a moment, the magic power that had escaped into the environment gathered into her body out of thin air, as if it had crossed space. Is it some kind of entanglement effect that can recycle energy regardless of distance? Yang Dong was still trying to explain it scientifically. She was going to ask the magic teacher Lenora for advice, but when she looked at the sky outside the window, she realized that it was already night. Only then did she realize that when she communicated about the source of magic power, she actually spent an entire afternoon. It obviously didn't feel like long had passed. Although it was already night, Yang Dong was not sleepy at all. She was now full of desire to explore new things. She left the dormitory and looked for Lenora in the school. It is not difficult to find the other party's location because the college is not big. It didn't take long before she found the other person. Before Yang Dong could speak, Lenora spoke first. It seems that you have acquired magic power and are interested in this energy. In this case, you can start learning magic. I will teach you a simple magic first. Its name is Dancing Lights. Lenora cast a spell and condensed a table tennis file-size ball of light in front of her that emitted at least 10,000 lumens of light. This ball of light flew around flexibly under the control of Lenora. She demonstrated and explained to Yang Dong. Lenora explains the most essential principles, rather than teaching programmed cultivation methods. In that case, although the other party can learn the magic faster, they will only know it but not know why. The two teaching methods allow people to learn the same magic with different effects. Through programmed learning, you can only learn the dancing light technique in the end. With essential learning, you can create your own magic based on the principles of the magic, such as the flash spell that can temporarily blind people, the sky light spell that can illuminate a larger area, the universal illumination spell that can disperse shadows, etc. These can all be learned from it was derived from the principles of dancing light technique. Putting aside his rejection of magic, Yang Dong's attitude towards learning became extremely serious. She found that the amount of knowledge involved in this seemingly simple dancing light technique was actually extremely complicated, but this was not a problem for Yang Dong, who was a top student. She is learning quickly. In the next 3 days, in addition to sleeping and eating, Yang Dong worked tirelessly to learn the essence of the dancing light technique with Lenora. It took her 3 days to successfully master the dancing lights technique and understand all the principles of the spell. A ball of light with 10,000 lumens was released from Yang Dong's hand. Under the control of Yang Dong's thoughts, this ball of light flew freely around her body. Lenora on the side nodded with satisfaction. You have completely mastered this spell. When you are free in the future, you can develop some 627 unique magic of your own based on the principles of this magic. Now I will teach you a new spell. Yang Dong dispersed the ball of light around him and looked at Lenora expectantly. At the moment, Yang Dong no longer doubts the existence of magic, and has deeply understood the nature of magic. This is an extremely profound subject. It is not the same as the fabricated magic in film and television literature, but more like a magic. A different kind of science. In the game world, half a month later, Evan came to Crimson Magic Academy. He assigned himself the status of a senior who was a past graduate of the college. Yang Dong, who was practicing her new magic on the playground, was startled when a young white man suddenly appeared in front of her. "Excuse me, who are you?" she asked. "My name is Evan Nelson, and I am also a student here, a past graduate. I originally thought that besides me, there would be no students here for a long time in the future. But I just received a message from Lenora, said there are new students enrolling here, so come and take a look. If I guess correctly, you are the new student?" Evan said in a serious manner in fluent Mandarin. "My name is Yang Dong. I have just enrolled here. I am still practicing magic and preparing for the formal entrance examination." Yang Dong said. "The entrance examination is actually not difficult. As long as you study hard, you will definitely be able to pass the examination." Chapter 103. Mr. Evan, are there many magicians? Why have I never heard of the existence of magicians? Yang Dong asked a question that he did not get an answer from Lenora. She believed that Evan would be able to answer her questions. "Not much, just you, me, Lenora, and a female phantom who doesn't want to reveal her name. Apart from that, there is no fifth magician in this world. You will definitely find it strange, right? But unfortunately, I can't answer this question because I don't know. If you are interested in this, you can find the answer by yourself after you leave here." Evan said nonsense seriously, as if it was true. "Teacher Lenora told me that some advanced magic is synonymous with miracles. I want to see it. Can you show it? It's best that it's something that technology can't do." Yang Dong really wants to see the so-called magic. Advanced magic. Actually, technology can do everything, but the technology on our planet is locked by alien civilization. The most intuitive manifestation is that the particle accelerator experiment is interfered with. Evan took this opportunity to tell Yang Dong the truth. Yang Dong's pupil shrank. She originally thought that the results of particle accelerator experiments proved that physics was unevenly distributed on the scales of time and space, which meant that physics did not exist. But now, the senior in front of him told him that there was no problem with physics. The problem was that the science of the human world was locked up by aliens without knowing it. She then thought of the Trisolaran civilization mentioned in the information she restored from her mother's computer. Could it be that the Trisolaran civilization has locked up human technology? After thinking about this, Yang Dong suddenly felt how ridiculous his behavior of wanting to commit suicide before coming here was. Just listen to Evan continue. There are many alien civilizations in the universe. The reason why we cannot observe them is simply because they all hide themselves. Because any weak civilization that exposes its existence will be exterminated without exception. The number of civilizations in the universe there are far more than you think. Their population is growing exponentially. Sooner or later, the universe will be filled up, and resources will not be enough. In this case, we can only eliminate all civilizations we see in advance. And truly powerful civilizations, which I call God-level civilizations, possess mathematical rate weapons and can easily interfere with galaxies at the Milky Way level, and even block galaxies at low light speeds. And their curvature spaceships have a very high energy level. Can fly to the edge of the universe and reach the end of the universe in an instant. 117 When Evan said this, he spread his hands and said, although I would like to say that magic is omnipotent, the fact is that the magic we have has far less development time than the technology of those God-level civilizations. Technology needs time to advance, and so does magic. In essence, they are all about a means of exploring the truth of the universe. Evan's words gave Yang Tu a great shock. Maybe it was excitement, or maybe fear. Yang Dong's body was trembling a little. The fire in her heart that pursued the unknown gradually began to burn and grew stronger. At the moment, she no longer had any thoughts of committing suicide, she just wanted to explore the unknown. If technology is locked by aliens, what about magic? Magic is our unique technology and cannot be locked. But we humans are being monitored by aliens. They are what I call the Trisolaran civilization. Their home planet is only 4.2 light-years away from us. With their technology, it takes 400 years to fly to the Earth and occupy our home. They are worried about the explosive progress of our technology, so they choose to lock our technology. But they certainly cannot lock our magic. But if we popularize magic, we will definitely let the Trisolarans who monitor us also learn this kind of power. But at the level of magic, we can at least stand on the same starting line as them. Yang Dong said excitedly. Maybe, but no matter what you plan to do, you must at least learn more knowledge from here first. Well, don't you want to see me perform advanced magic? Let me show it to you. Evan raised his hand. The real mirror technique was activated. Yang Dong only saw a mirror appearing a few meters in front of him. A different version of her was reflected in the mirror. Under Yang Dong's surprised gaze, she actually walked out of the mirror. The mirror image of Yang Dong began to cast magic. The magic she mastered was exactly the same as the magic mastered by the real Yang Dong, and even her proficiency in magic was the same. This is the true mirror technique. It can temporarily copy everything, including living things. And the ability that the copied thing can exert during the time it exists will be 100% the same as the original body. If encountered when you reach an enemy, you can use this technique to copy an enemy and let the enemy fight with your own copy. Yang Dong was stunned. This magic is unscientific. Evan dispelled the true mirror spell and cast a second spell. Evan raised his hand and tapped Yang Dong's forehead with one finger, knocking out the latter's soul from his body. Yang Dong found that his consciousness actually floated out of his body. When he looked down, he realized that his consciousness had a thin and transparent body, just like a ghost. She looked at her original body again and found that it seemed to have lost its soul and was about to fall, but was held up by Evangelist. The scientific name of this magic is astral projection. In words you can understand, it is the so-called soul astral. It can be done whether you make your own soul astral or make other people's soul astral. The projected soul can appear very far away, Lee's side, in an instant. The far distance I am talking about is on the scale of light years. Evan waved and sent Yang Dong's soul back to his body. Before Yang Dong could ask about soul-related topics, Evan cast his third magic. Evan's body, and his clothes, began to shapeshift. In an instant, Evan became exactly like Yang Dong. No matter the hairstyle, clothes, shoes, body shape, appearance, or even temperament, irises, and fingerprints, they all become exactly the same. Even the mother can't tell the difference between the real ones and the fake ones. This is shape-shifting. Although it is not as magical as Sun Wukong's 72 transformations, it is very easy to just disguise your appearance. The demonstration ended and Evan returned to his original state. After seeing this, Yang Dong became more interested in the subject of magic than science. Chapter 104. It's almost dawn in the real world. Yang Dong has been at the Crimson Magic Academy in the game world for a month. Today is the day for Yang Dong to take the entrance examination. Only by passing the assessment can she become an official student here, and she can travel between the real world and the Crimson Magic Academy at any time in the future. If she fails the assessment, she will lose the chance to come here again. Yang Dong has been studying seriously for the past month. Currently, she has mastered 5 powerful but very practical spells. With her current level, she will definitely be able to pass the assessment. The assessment process will not be discussed here. Not surprisingly, Yang Dong passed the entrance qualification examination and gained the qualification to enter and leave here at any time. It's dawn in the real world. After the assessment, Yang Dong left here and returned to the real world. Let's move forward in time. Previously, the real phantom of Wanda's image suddenly disappeared under Siphon's surveillance, which made the Tri-Solarans pay attention to this. Later, Tomoko focused on tracking Yang Dong, who had been in contact with the other party, but found that Yang Dong's body suddenly disappeared from the bed in the dormitory while he was sleeping soundly at night. It wasn't until early this morning that Tomoko discovered that Yang Dong was back in 390 again, and appeared out of thin air. The Tri-Solaran civilization, which monitored this scene, wanted to know how they suddenly disappeared and reappeared. In order to understand this, the Tri-Solarans contacted members of the Adventist sect of the Earth Tri-Solaran Organization, Ito, through Siphon, and asked them to capture Yang Dong and interrogate the other party's secrets. If this is not clear, the top leaders of the Tri-Solaran civilization will become restless. The Ito organization is a group of human traders who worship the Tri-Solaran civilization as God and want to help the Tri-Solaran civilization invade the Earth. The Advent faction headed by Evans and the Ito organization began planning the kidnapping of Yang Dong after receiving the order. Even if Yang Dong is the daughter of Yawenja, the honorary leader of the Ito organization, these lunatics won't care. Yang Dong, who had just returned, didn't realize that he had been targeted by Ito. The first time she came back, she found her mobile phone on the bedside table to check the time, and found that only one night had passed here. Crimson Magic Academy really exists in the time dilation zone. Yang Dong put down her phone, closed her eyes and felt her body. She found that the magic energy, ADB, in her body was still there, which proved that everything she had experienced before was not a dream. She thought that the Tri-Solarans were monitoring human civilization, and maybe she was also under their observation, so she did not use magic here to avoid being targeted. It's dawn in the Rabbit Country, but it's dark in the Lighthouse Country. Evan, who is in Los Angeles, is sleeping happily with his wife Kayla in his arms. Until it was dawn in the Lighthouse Country and dark again in the Rabbit Country, Evan crossed the urban area and came to the Rabbit Country again. He came to Bihang University in the capital. Today is another graduation season at Bihang University. Cheng Xian, who is already a PhD majoring in aerospace engines, returned to school. She was wearing her bachelor's uniform and taking photos with her classmates. After the group photo is over, they should go their separate ways. Evan came here and found Cheng Xian, who had just finished taking a group photo and was about to return to the dormitory to change clothes and leave. It has to be said that Cheng Xian, who can make Yun Tianming willing to be a BCH, is very good looking, and it is not an exaggeration to call her a goddess. Cheng Xian's character is also very good, but unfortunately in the future, her saucy operations that she thinks are doing good things will almost ruin human civilization, and she will really be hated by people. In fact, Cheng Xian was only pushed into a position that she shouldn't be in, which led to such a tragedy. As the saying goes, kindness cannot lead a war. If a kind person is allowed to coordinate and direct a war, it will easily come to a tragic conclusion. Cheng Xian's experience was almost like this. In order to prevent Cheng Xian from inadvertently causing disaster to human civilization, Evan decided to come here to change the other party's destiny. Classmate, please wait a moment. Evan called Cheng Xian. Observing the other person closely, Evan found that Cheng Xian, who was dressed in a bachelor's uniform, had a very bookish air of an intellectual. Excuse me, what's the matter? Cheng Xin saw that the person who stopped her was a handsome man. He could also speak Mandarin very fluently. This gave Cheng Xin a very good first impression of him. Good. I'm Evan Nelson, and this is my business card. Evan handed his business card to the other party. Cheng Xin took it and took a look at it, and found that it was written with the words CEO of Marvel Entertainment. This made Cheng Xin have questions on her head. If I remember correctly, Marvel Entertainment is a new star film and television company in Hollywood. I have also seen your company. That movie just came out. That's just an identity, don't worry about it. Miss Cheng Xin, my identity has nothing to do with me coming here to find you, and I'm not here to make a movie with you. Do you know me? Cheng Xin was confused. Well, I'm here to deliver the admission notice to you. Evan took out an admission notice from his arms and handed it to the other party. The latter took it, opened it, and looked through it. Dear Miss Cheng Xin, we are pleased to inform you that you have been admitted to the Crimson Academy of Magic. You only need to sign the invitation letter to arrive at our Magic Academy. Welcome. After reading the contents of the admission notice, Cheng Xin was filled with frustration. She raised her head, and when she was about to complain about the handsome white guy, she found that he had already left. Cheng Xin. She hesitated for a few seconds, but still did not throw away the invitation. She went all the way back to the dormitory, took off her bachelor's uniform, changed into casual clothes, started packing her things, and said goodbye to this school. After she put all the things she needed to pack into her suitcase, she looked at the admission notice again. Which girl hasn't dreamed of being a little fairy, and Cheng Xin is no exception. But Cheng Xin knew that this thing was probably a prank. But since the other party used such an exquisite card as the admission notice, in order not to disappoint the other party, and for some weird sense of ritual called childhood dreams, Cheng Xin still picked up a pen and wrote on this admission notice. He wrote his name on it. Nothing happened. Cheng Xin had expected this. She shook her head and used a pen to erase her name on the invitation letter so that no one would think she was a fool. After that, she threw away the invitation letter, took her suitcase, and left the Bihang minister. Chapter 105. Cheng Xin returned home to visit her adoptive mother, Cheng Xiaoxiu, and told her that she would join the research team developing engines for the new generation Long March rocket in 3 days. Her excellence made Cheng Xiaoxiu proud. That night, Cheng Xin spent the night at her adoptive mother's house. In a daze, Cheng Xin woke up. She sat up in confusion and found that she was not at home, but on a bed in a strange dormitory. There was another person besides her in this dormitory, and the other person had just woken up like her. But unlike her, there was no confusion in the other person's expression about where this place was. Excuse me, where is this place? Why am I here? Who are you? Cheng Xin asked the other party while getting dressed and getting up. This is Crimson Magic Academy. You will appear here probably because you have received the admission notice. My name is Yang Dong, and I am also a student here like you. Yang Dong said this is the second time Yang Dong has come to Crimson Magic Academy. Different from the last time, this time she came in on her own initiative. As soon as she entered, she appeared in the dormitory and found that she had an extra roommate. When Cheng Xin heard that this place was called Crimson Magic Academy, she immediately thought of Evan, whom she had met before, who had sent her the admission notice of Crimson Magic Academy. At that time, Cheng Xin thought it was just a silly prank by the other party. Who knew that this academy really existed? Wait, that's not necessarily the case. This might just be a follow-up to that prank. A magic academy or something like that sounds unscientific and cannot exist at all. You must have put a lot of thought into this prank. You brought me here from home, which is already considered kidnapping. It's too much to carry out the prank to this extent. Cheng Xin was a little angry. When Yang Dong saw the other person acting like this, he knew that the other person was just like him before, and he didn't believe that all this was true. Simply, Yang Dong condensed a light ball in his hand, and controlled the light ball to fly around in the dormitory. Cheng Xin was a little stunned when she saw this scene. When the ball of light flew in front of her, she stretched out her hand to touch the ball of light, wanting to put it into her hand to see what it was. But her hand did not touch the entity, but the ball of light passed through her palm. This move is called Dancing Light Technique, and it is one of the spells I learned here. Yang Dong explained. This is unscientific. Cheng Xin was a little skeptical about life. I know. Yang Dong's voice was as calm as ever. Cheng Xin didn't quite believe it, thinking it might be some kind of magic trick that she couldn't figure out yet. Yang Dong asked Cheng Xin, I don't know your name yet. My name is Cheng Xin. In the communication room, the two got up, went to the bathroom to wash up, and then left the dormitory and came to the college's playground. Today, NPC Lenora is not here, but Evan is here as a guest magic lecturer, and he wants to teach the two girls in person. It's you. Cheng Xin recognized the person standing in the playground as Evan, who had given her the admission notice. It's me. I thought it was just a prank. Obviously not. Evan shrugged. He conjured a book out of thin air like magic and handed it to Cheng Xin. This is what you need to learn. Only by learning it can you gain magic power. Only with magic power can you to master magic. You can learn the above content by yourself. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me. Cheng Xin took it curiously, opened it and looked through it. There is not much content in the book, which records related content on meditation, magic acquisition, and magic marks. The content is well written and looks like the real thing. Isn't this really a prank? Cheng Xin still didn't believe it. You can verify it yourself, and you don't have to worry that staying here for a long time will delay your affairs in the outside world. Crimson Magic Academy is in the time expansion zone, and you can stay here for a full 30 days until dawn outside time. After Evan finished speaking, he no longer paid attention to Cheng Zheng, who was sluggish, and looked at Yang Dong. Seeing him, Yang Dong took advantage of the situation and asked, Mr. Evan, are you going to teach me magic today? Well, Lenora was away from school for something, so I came here as a guest lecturer. Evan nodded, and then mentioned one thing, when you came here yesterday, because your body disappeared out of thin air, this matter it was observed by those beings, which aroused their curiosity. In the next few days, you may face the risk of being kidnapped. For your safety, I will teach you some self-defense magic. They you are talking about, are they? Yang Dong thought of the Tri-Solaran civilization that Evan mentioned. 0 That's them. Okay, let's stop talking nonsense. The first magic I'm going to teach you is called Advanced Magician Armor. Its function is to build an invisible protective shield on your body. It can be used to defend against various kinetic and potential energy strikes. One cast is enough to help you resist a frontal missile bombing. Evan started teaching. Dr. Yang Dong studied hard. Cheng Xin was confused the whole time. Greater Magician Armor? Still resisting missile bombing head-on? What a joke! But soon, Cheng Xin saw an incredible scene. Evan conjured an assault rifle out of thin air, handed it to Yang Dong, taught him how to use it, and then asked him to shoot into the open space to test its power to prove that this thing was real. Afterwards, Evan asked Yang Dong to shoot himself to demonstrate the effect of the Advanced Magician Armor. Yang Dong took an assault rifle and shot at Evan. The bullets fired at Evan were bounced off by a shield invisible to the naked eye before they came into contact with Evan's body surface, without injuring Evan at all. Cheng Xin was dumbfounded. Is this really magic? Cheng Xin couldn't help but look at the book in her hand, and her curiosity drove her to start studying the contents seriously. Cheng Xin was a fast learner, and it only took him 2 hours to learn all the above content. She began to meditate and communicate with the source of magic power to obtain magic power. A few more hours passed and Cheng Xin successfully obtained the magic power. Seeing this, Evan materialized a new textbook, handed it to Cheng Xin, and said, "This is your new textbook. It records some simple magic knowledge. You should study it on your own first. After you finish learning this content, you will be able to catch up with Yang Dong's progress, and then you two can attend the class together." Okay. Cheng Xin took it and couldn't wait to look through it. If she wanted to verify whether the energy that appeared in her body was magic, she only needed to learn a magic spell. With this mentality, Cheng Xin began to read books and study on her own. Not far away, Yang Dong has memorized all the contents of the high-level magician armor spell and is also learning it. Chapter 106. Game World, 3 days later. Yang Dong successfully learned advanced magician armor. Cheng Xin also learned the first magic in her life, the dancing light technique. By now, Cheng Xinchuan had completely believed in the existence of magic. This was not a prank, it was all true. At noon that day, the three of them sat in the college cafeteria to eat. Evan said to Yang Dong, "Having mastered advanced magician armor, you can ensure that you can survive most dangers in modern cities, but defense alone is not enough. When facing the enemy, you also need some means of counterattack. So as not to fall into passivity, I will teach you some offensive spells in the afternoon. Mr. Evan, I want to know what means the Trisolarans use to monitor us. Yang Dong asked. It's Tomoko. You mean the proton, a subatomic particle. It's a Siphon, a smart intelligence, but that thing is indeed a subatomic particle. Its 180 is the smallest artificial intelligence that the Trisolaran civilization can produce. The Trisolaran can expand protons in 2 dimensions, turn the small proton into a surface that can cover the planet and have no thickness, carve integrated circuits on it, and finally fold it into dimensions and restore it to its original appearance. This kind of proton is what I call Siphons. Siphons can observe the material world from higher dimensions, and can also turn into high-energy particles and move at a speed close to light. In 2005, 2 protons flew to our planet from 4.2 light-years away. The purpose of the existence of Siphons is to disrupt the thinking of our human scientists, interfere with particle collision experiments, and lock down the basic science of the dead man class. Siphon also has some other functions, such as traveling back and forth through your retina and playing pictures in your eyes. It can also unfold and wrap around the planet in 2 dimensions and flash, giving humans the illusion that the cosmic background radiation is flashing. It can also be used as a medium for quantum communication, enabling quantum communication without delay, or it can be turned into a concave and convex mirror to focus sunlight and ignite the ground. Evan tells the essence of Siphon. Yang Dong was shocked when she learned about Siphon. She didn't expect that the technological strength of the Trisolaran civilization was so powerful. In the face of such aliens, does humanity have any chance of winning? Cheng Xin on the side was confused the whole time. Wait a minute, what are the 3-body civilization and Siphons you are talking about? Is this something out of a science fiction novel? Cheng Xin couldn't help but ask. No, it is something that really happened in reality. Our human civilization has been targeted by aliens. They are a civilization from 4.2 light-years away, which I call the Trisolaran civilization. With their technological level, it will take another 400 years to reach our solar system. In order to avoid the technological explosion of mankind during these 400 years, they launched Siphons here to lock up our basic science and disrupt the thinking of our scientists. And create turmoil in society. Currently, an organization called the Earth Trisolaran Movement has appeared on Earth. This organization is referred to as S.H.I.E.L.D. It is a group of guys who worship Trisolarans as gods. Recently, many scientists have suicide cases are related to this, AI said. Cheng Xin was stunned. Yang Dong thought of the information restored from his mother's computer. His mother, Wenjia, seemed to be the honorary leader of the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization. Within the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization, there are many factions, the 2 largest factions being the Salvation faction and the Adventist faction, and the one who may kidnap Yang Dong is the Adventist faction among them. Should I go hide? It's not necessary. By the time it gets light outside, you will almost be able to master the magic to protect yourself. You might as well use yourself as a bait. If someone really comes to kidnap you, you can use the magic I taught you to knock them unconscious before contacting them again. A police officer named Shi Qiang from the Capital Police Headquarters asked him to take those people away for interrogation. I will give you Officer Xiao Qiang's number later. Good. Time is passing in the game world, and a month has passed before you know it. From Evan, Yang Dong successively learned the advanced magician armor of the protection system, the charm of human beings of the illusion system, and the reptilian tongue, insect nest, and swan wings of the transformation system. And Cheng Xin finally finished learning all the magic recorded in that book, and today, she passed the entrance examination and gained the freedom to enter and exit this place freely. The sky has dawned in the real world. Yang Dong said goodbye to Evan and Cheng Xin and returned to the real world. Cheng Xin didn't remember to leave. She asked Evan, don't you have any advice for me? You are not famous. The Trisolaran civilization will not notice that you suddenly disappeared from home last night, and naturally they will not target you. However, it is best not to expose your magic skills to the outside world, otherwise they will inevitably target you. I understand. Cheng Xin bowed and thanked her. After thanking him, Cheng Xin also left. Yang Dong resigned from his place of work. Dr. Ding Yi, who had been pursuing him, tried his best to keep her, but Yang Dong had already decided to leave. Yang Dong boarded a flight back to the capital. The passenger plane was hijacked shortly after it took off. People from the Ito organization have been monitoring Yang Dong. When they found out that Yang Dong was going back to the capital on this flight, they also got involved. They wanted to kidnap Yang Dong on the plane, and then planned to fly the plane at a low altitude and leave by parachuting. This was the kidnapping of Yang Dong planned by the Ito organization. But there is a saying that plans cannot keep up with changes. They began to act and caused panic among the passengers inside the plane. When they were about to kidnap Yang Dong, before Yang Dong could get close to him, he launched an illusion spell on the robbers. Charming the humans, causing them to fall into coma. The passengers were shocked to find that the group of armed robbers, who didn't know what had happened, actually fainted one after another. No one found out that the person who did it was Yang Dong. Even Tomoko, who had been monitoring the place, didn't find the reason why those people fainted. And Yang Dong, who had done this, kept his fame and achievements in a low-key manner. What happened on the plane has been reported to the relevant departments. As soon as the plane landed, the police boarded the plane and took away the robbers who were tied up by the passengers because they were unconscious. Yang Dong got off the plane, took out his cell phone at this moment, and dialed Officer Shi-Chiang's number. As soon as the call was dialed, Yang Dong was surprised to find that one of the police officers not far away had his cell phone ringing. It can't be such a coincidence, she said to herself. What a coincidence, the police officer whose cell phone rang was Shi-Chiang. Shi-Chiang answered the phone. Which one? Officer Shi, I want to talk to you. I'm not far from you. After hearing this, Shi-Chiang looked around and saw a woman not far away who was also holding a mobile phone and looking towards him at 5.6. Shi-Chiang hung up the phone, said a few words to his colleagues, and then walked towards Yang Dong. I guess you must have relevant information to tell me. This police officer Shi is tall and thick-set, with a sinewy face, wearing a dirty leather jacket, smelling of cigarette smoke, and speaks loudly. He is a stocky middle-aged man. His eyes were bright, as if he were smiling, but there was an invisible murderous aura hidden in his eyes, which made him look sophisticated and sharp. Yes, the purpose of those robbers may be to kidnap me. They belong to an organization called Ito. I don't know what that organization does. I don't know why they are targeting me. But I think you should be able to interrogate it from their mouths. Yang Dong said. Since you are the person involved, come with us. Okay. Yang Dong followed Shi-Chiang and got into the latter's police car. Chapter 107. Shi-Chiang, who was driving, asked Dr. Yang Dong, who was sitting in the passenger seat, I heard from other passengers that the robbers all suddenly fainted when they were doing it. This matter must also be related to you. You can use methods that I can't even figure out. You are very powerful. Yes, I made them faint, but before interrogating the specific circumstances from the mouths of those robbers, please forgive me for not revealing my method. Not long after, they arrived at the police station. Yang Dong was arranged to wait in a room. Shi-Chiang personally went to interrogate the prisoners who almost hijacked the passenger plane. At first, the interrogation process was not ideal. The prisoners were very harsh and said that they only wanted to make money by hijacking the passenger plane. Shi-Chiang didn't believe their lies. As a rude policeman, he had an eclectic style of acting. He once acted without regard for the life and death of the hostages, resulting in the tragic death of a family of 3 at the hands of criminals. It is said that he also fought fiercely with the underworld, using one group of underworld forces to deal with another group. During this period of time 08, Shi-Chiang has not been suspended for torture and extorting confessions from suspects and maiming one suspect. But judging from the methods he is about to use against these robbers, he might be suspended early because of this incident. Shi-Chiang turned off the monitor in the interrogation room, and then, when Shi-Chiang walked out of the interrogation room, the prisoners in the interrogation room looked like they had suffered a crime, but there was no sign of any injuries on their appearance. Shi-Chiang's expression was solemn. He couldn't believe the information he just got from the prisoners. The Earth Tri-Solaran Organization, they serve aliens and want to attract aliens to invade the Earth. The purpose of hijacking the civil airliner was really to kidnap Yang Dong, because alien surveillance detected that Yang Dong disappeared out of thin air once. The aliens wanted to know the reason why she disappeared out of thin air, so they sent Ito to kidnap her. Shi-Chiang felt that if he wasn't crazy, then the world must be crazy. Such a bizarre thing as aliens invading the Earth actually happened. He was not in a hurry to report the matter to his superiors, but went to Dr. Yang Dong. He saw Yang Dong sitting there quietly, not showing any worry or fear because there was an organization trying to kidnap her. This female doctor is not simple. Can we talk now? Shi Qiang sat opposite Yang Dong. I need to know how much you got out of them. There are enough, such as the Edo organization, the existence of Tri-Solaran civilization, and your disappearance out of thin air, which has aroused the curiosity of aliens. They only know so much. Do you believe it? Yang Dong asked. I don't know. Shi Qiang shook his head. You can report this matter. I will, but now I just want to know how you disappeared out of thin air while you were sleeping, where you disappeared to, and how you made those robbers comatose through the air. What you are curious about is also what the Tri-Solaran civilization is curious about. I can confirm that the conversation between you and me is being monitored by the Tri-Solaran civilization, and they can even see the expressions on our faces. Once I tell the truth, you and they will know. Okay, come with me and I'll take you to meet someone. Shi Qiang took Yang Dong and drove to the military area to meet his old leader when he served in the army, General Chang Weisai. Shi Qiang knew that this matter was not a trivial matter and needed to be known to more important people. But just as their car was driving out of the city, several jeeps were chasing them from behind the road. Shi Qiang spotted the suspicious cars through the rearview mirror. Sit tight, I'm going to accelerate. Shi Qiang stepped on the accelerator and started to accelerate. The jeeps behind also began to accelerate. Among those jeeps, someone with an automatic rifle leaned out of the window and opened fire on Shi Qiang's police car. Fortunately, Shi Qiang's car was bulletproof, so it was safe for the time being. Seeing that those people actually had automatic rifles, Shi Qiang cursed and immediately took out his walkie-talkie to contact support. But for a while, support couldn't arrive here. Shi Qiang immediately thought of the strange methods that Dr. Yang Dong might have, and asked her, can those methods of yours be used in this situation? Yes, you can drive without worry and I will deal with them. Yang Dong rushed to the back seat, and through the rear windshield, he used illusion magic to charm humans on the driver of the pursuing vehicle. Although this magic can only be powerfully effective at close range, and the effect will be greatly attenuated if it is too far away, but at such a dangerous moment, a method that can interfere with the enemy is a good method. Under the interference of illusion magic, the drivers of the jeeps behind them seemed to have suddenly gone crazy and began to bump into each other's vehicles, and soon they all overturned. The two survived the danger smoothly. Shi Qiang looked at this scene in disbelief, feeling that his three views had been subverted. This is such a super ability. Half an hour later, Shi Qiang's vehicle drove into the military area. The two met General Chang Weisai here. Shi Qiang reported everything that happened before to General Chang Weisai. After Chang Weisai listened, he looked at Chang. What do you have to tell me about the Tri-Solaran civilization, the Edo organization, and your super ability? Yes, the home planet of Tri-Solaran civilization is located. Yang Dong told General Chang Weisai all the information he knew about Tri-Solaris civilization and the Edo organization, including 477 Sifan. The blockade of basic science of human civilization, and the truth behind the recent series of suicides of scientists. Definitely Yang Dong also had selfish motives. She concealed the fact that her mother might be the honorary leader of the Edo organization. Although she knew very well that her mother would be caught sooner or later, as a daughter, Yang Dong still hoped that her mother would be arrested later. At the moment, there is a Sifan floating next to a few people. Monitoring the Tri-Solaran civilization here through Sifans, and after hearing what Yang Dong said, she actually knew about Sifans, and even knew how they created Sifans, which immediately frightened the Tri-Solaran people. How did Yang Dong know about the Sifan project? You know, the Tri-Solaran civilization has not disclosed this matter to humans, not even to the Edo organization. Edo leader Evans only knows that there is such a thing as a Sifan, but does not know the specific details of the Sifan project, but Yang Dong was able to say for sure that they were carving integrated circuits using protons in 2 dimensions. Could it be that a higher civilization came into contact with Yang Dong? And that higher civilization still monitors every move of the Tri-Solaran civilization? But in the cosmic picture of the Dark Forest Law, how could there be a higher civilization that would help a lower civilization? You would be merciful if you were not destroyed. This unknown made the Tri-Solarans feel scared. Chapter 108. The information brought by Dr. Yang Dong caused General Chang Weisai and Officer Shi Qiang to fall into a brief silence. At the same time, they finally knew one thing. The truth behind the recent suicide cases of scientists was actually like this. They realized that something serious was going on, and this was no longer something they, or even a country, could face alone. Only when all countries unite can they face the threat of alien invasion of the Earth. How long will it take for them to reach the Earth? Chang Weisai asked Yang Dong. It will take about 400 years, but this is assuming their technology does not advance explosively. If they develop new deep space navigation technology during this process, it is likely to arrive earlier. Yang Tu expressed his judgment. Where did you get this information? Is it possible that you were once an undercover agent in the Ito organization? Shi Qiang asked. Shi Qiang's questioning was like interrogating a prisoner. There was no way he had such a temperament. Even asking you "have you eaten today," was like interrogating him. Yang Dong shook his head and pointed to the sky. You want to say that our current conversation is being monitored by the Safans of the Tri-Solaran civilization, right? Shi Qiang understood. Actually, there are some things that can be said. I have a set of systematic technologies here, which can allow us to continue to develop and grow like science, and Safans will never be able to block it. But once we do this, the Tri-Solaran civilization will being able to obtain this systematic technology through Safans and standing on the same starting line as us. The advantage is that it is better than being unable to advance in technology and having to wait to die. Is the technology you are talking about related to your suspected super ability thing? Right. Can you demonstrate it? General Chang Weisai was very curious about this. Super ability is too tempting. If super ability really exists and can be learned and mastered by ordinary people, it will definitely strengthen the country's military power. Okay, next I will turn into an insect. The scene is a bit scary, but you don't have to worry. After Yang Dong finished speaking, he activated the change magic, insect nest. This spell does not create an insect nest, but turns the caster's own body into an insect nest. Yang Dong's entire body, including her clothes, suddenly collapsed and turned into thousands of butterflies. These butterflies are all Morpho butterflies, the goddess of light, and each one is very beautiful. So many Morpho butterflies, the goddess of light, began to fly around in the room. General Chang Weisai and Officer Shi Qiang were shocked when they saw this scene. Also stunned was the Tri-Solaran civilization that was monitoring the place through Safans. How did a living person split into so many insects? Aren't you afraid of being precise? This unscientific. Those butterflies flying around gradually gathered in one place, forming a human shape, and finally gathered back into a complete person, who was Yang Dong. But it wasn't over yet. The next second, Dr. Yang Dong's body collapsed again and turned into poisonous spiders all over the ground. These poisonous spiders are also extremely poisonous widow spiders, which can poison a person to death with just one bite. Thousands of spiders appeared densely in the house. Even Chang Weisai and Shi Qiang, who had seen strong winds and waves, were startled and had goosebumps all over their bodies. Not long after, these spiders reunited with Dr. Yang Tuesday. Dr. Yang Dong, can anyone master this kind of ability? General Chang Weisai asked quickly. Yes, this is a systematic ability. Just like science, it can be learned and mastered. It can even gather the wisdom of all civilizations to continuously innovate. It is another system that is completely different from technology. It's called magic. As Yang Dong spoke, he waved his hand to condense a ball of light. The ball of light flew around everyone, and Yang Dong continued, the upper limit of the magic system is very high, and it can even be done now. There are many things that our technology cannot do. As long as it is popularized all over the world and the wisdom of all humans in the entire civilization is gathered, the development of magic can be constantly promoted. The Tri-Solaran civilization will definitely not be able to use Safans to block the development of our magic. When magic becomes popular, in the next 400 years, we will be able to constantly introduce new magic and finally defeat the Tri-Solaran civilization. Yang Dong finished speaking his thoughts. The light ball flying everywhere flew back to Yang Dong's hand. Yang Dong clenched his fist and the light ball disappeared. I need to discuss this matter with others. Dr. Yang Dong, your life safety will be the first consideration now. I hope you can stay in the military area temporarily and receive the protection of soldiers. Okay. This is also Yang Dong's plan. Yang Dong knew that General Chang Weisai was the highest-ranking general in the Rabbit Kingdom. As long as he stayed here, he would be able to get in touch with the core of power, which would make it easier for her to popularize magic. At the moment, the top leaders of the Tri-Solaran civilization were gathering together for a meeting. They were discussing whether to let the Ito organization drop a black bomb on that military area and kill Yang Tu who was staying there. Some people voted for it, and some people voted against it. The objection is that they want to explore the power called magic. If Yang Dong is killed, they will have no way to obtain that power. After discussion at the meeting, Tri-Solaris civilization decided not to take action against Yang Dong for the time being. Evans, the leader of the Earth Edo organization, received an order from Master Ding, who asked them to temporarily give up the arrest of Yang Dong. Let's move forward in time. Cheng Xin returned to her home in the real world from Crimson Magic Academy. Like Dr. Yang Dong, the first time she came back was to check the time until she confirmed that only one night had passed here. Cheng Xin felt her body and realized that the magic power was still there, which proved that what happened before was not a dream. Cheng Xin tried to use the dancing light technique and succeeded easily. Magic can really be used in reality, which dispelled Cheng Xin's last doubt about magic. Dr. Yang Dong told me that she plans to popularize magic to all mankind. Maybe I should also join this new cause that will inevitably become the mainstream in the future. This is definitely more valuable than joining the research team to develop engines for the new generation Long March rocket. A bright future. Cheng Xin had this idea. Once this idea appears, it cannot be contained. Cheng Xin quickly made a decision. That morning, she called to resign from the job that had not yet started. Then she said goodbye to her mother, left home, found a deserted place, and entered again. Crimson Academy of Magic. She will use her time during the day in the real world to continue studying magic at the Red Magic Academy. Only by mastering enough magic can we stand at the forefront of the new era in the future. When she came here, she didn't see Evan again, but she saw Lenora, the magic teacher that Evan and Yang Dong had mentioned. Hello, Ms. Lenora, my name is Cheng Xin. Well, since you're here, let's start class. Lenora didn't waste any time. After confirming Cheng Xin's learning progress, she began to teach Cheng Xin new magic theories and skills. Cheng Xin studied very seriously and did not plan to leave here in a short time. She wanted to study and study hard. Learning makes me happy. JPG. Chapter 109. Lighthouse Country, California, Los Angeles, evening. Evan and Kayla leaned together, chatting and watching TV programs. At this time, Kayla's cell phone rang. She picked up the phone and said a few words, hung up the phone, and said to Evan, "Dear, my colleague just informed me that a scientist at the California Institute of Technology committed suicide and asked me to go there to cover the matter. I will leave first." "Go ahead, I won't tell you to be careful. I don't think anything in this world can threaten me," Kayla said confidently, immediately got up, took off her slippers, put on her coat, and hurried out. After Kayla left, Evan also stood up, stepped out of the random door that suddenly appeared in front of him, and came to the rabbit country again. Yes, he came here to cause trouble again, but this time the person he was looking for was a member of the Edo organization, and he was also the person in charge of the Scientific Frontier Organization in Asia. The other party is a Japanese Hyuxia living in Chaoyang District, the capital. However, the other party is not a member of the Adventist faction of the Edo organization, but a member of the Salvation faction. Edo's Adventists and Salvationists use different methods. The purpose of the Salvation sect is to save the Tri-Solaran people. The purpose of the Adventists is much more extreme. It is to destroy mankind and destroy everyone. Compared to the Adventists, the Salvationists are relatively harmless. The Salvationists hope that the Tri-Solarans will come to supervise and transform human society. They also believe that as long as the Tri-Solarans are saved, they may not invade the Earth. The worst-case scenario is to give up other planets in the solar system to the Tri-Solarans. People live in it. It has to be said that the Salvationists are a bunch of idealists. They know that what they are doing has little hope or is even unrealistic, but they still work tirelessly. Shen Yufei is a member of the Salvation sect. She is also the target of Evan's trip. Evan will come to Shen Yufei to give him the possibility of saving the Lord. As long as Shen Yufei learns magic, he will definitely tell the Tri-Solarans about the knowledge of magic. At that time, Tri-Solaran people will try to practice cultivation. If the first Tri-Solaran person tastes the benefits, more Tri-Solaran people will try. Tri-Solarans with transparent thinking will passively spread the knowledge of magic among the group, allowing more and more Tri-Solarans to understand magic and practice magic. Advertisement: it won't be long before Evan can take down the Tri-Solaran civilization without a single blow. As for the Tri-Solaran civilization, when it obtains the knowledge of magic, will it be able to introduce new technologies faster than the people on Earth? Evan said it didn't matter. Use Evan's magic power to develop new magic, and Evan would naturally be able to master it at the same time. This is the benefit of being a magic creditor. If the Earth civilization and the Tri-Solaran civilization race on the track of the magic system, Evan will only be the winner in the end. Definitely Evan doesn't just take benefits, he also does practical things and will give human civilization a better future. As for the future of Tri-Solaran civilization, it depends on the situation. At the moment, Shen Yufei is working in the laboratory of a foreign company. Evan changed his appearance and easily blended into the Japanese company, sneaking all the way to the company's laboratory. This laboratory is not big, and there are only 3 staff members in it. One is Shen Yufei, the other 2 are graduate students studying with Dr. Shen Yufei. Unrelated visitors are not welcome here. If you just get lost, you can go out and turn left. There is a floor map there. Dr. Shen Yufei looked at the young man walking into the laboratory. He spoke in a cold tone. Dr. Shen Yufei, I need to talk to you in private about that. Evan said. Shen Yufei frowned. She thought the other person was from the Ito organization, so she nodded and walked towards the office next to the laboratory. Follow me. The 2 entered the office and sat down. Tell me, why did you come to me? Shen Yufei did not ask the other party's name because it was not necessary. Evan, whose appearance had changed, had no intention of introducing himself to the other party, but said, the 3-body problem has no solution. You came here, Aide, just to talk to me about this. Shen Yufei frowned. No, I'm just here to provide you with new ideas. If you have time, read this book. It will help you. Evan handed the other party a book that recorded a lot of magic knowledge, and then he stood up and said, the knowledge in the book is what I have studied for most of my life. It is very important. So, excuse me, Dr. Shen Yufei. After Evan left, Shen Yufei opened the book. Advertisement Meditation, Magic. Shen Yufei felt that she might have been tricked, but she still read on patiently. After turning over the part about meditating to obtain magic power, there are various theories of magic at the end. These theories seem to be well organized, and the more you look at them, the more reasonable they become. At least there are no problems at the logical level. Involuntarily, Jade had the thought maybe magic is real. She decided to give it a try, so she opened the first few pages and looked at the part about meditating on communicating with the source of magic. It didn't take long for her to finish learning this part of the knowledge and start trying. A few hours later, when Shen Yufei really communicated with the source of magic power and obtained the magic power, her pupil shrank. At the moment, it is already the afternoon in the Rabbit Country time zone. Shen Yufei didn't pay attention to the time. She couldn't wait to read the magic knowledge at the back and began to study. She needed to confirm whether the energy that suddenly appeared in her body could really be used to perform the so-called magic in this book. There is no time dilation in the real world. Even if she tried hard to learn the magic in the book, it would take her 3 days to learn even the simplest of them. But to verify the authenticity of magic, you don't need to learn magic. You can verify it by just learning it for a moment. A few more hours passed, and it was getting dark outside. Although Shen Yufei has not learned magic yet, she has already verified the authenticity of the knowledge in this book. She suddenly regretted why she didn't ask for that person's identity before. As a result, even if she wanted to find him now, she didn't know where to look. Shen Yufei put away the magic book like a treasure, went to the company's monitoring room, and checked the company's surveillance, only to find that the company's surveillance did not capture that person at all. When the other person pushed the door and walked into her laboratory, only it showed that the door was opened out of thin air, but no one came in or out, which was very strange. Shen Yufei guessed that the other party should have used magical ability to block the company's surveillance cameras from imaging him. Shen Yufei left the company and drove back, thinking about whether she should tell the Lord about the book now. But she thought for a few seconds and gave up the idea for the time being. At least she had to verify that the knowledge was okay before informing her, so as not to do bad things with good intentions. Chapter 110. A week passed like this. During this week, Yang Dong stayed in the military area during the day and entered the Crimson Magic Academy for further study at night. She had already told General Chang Weisai that she would disappear at night to go to a different space to learn magic, so she was not worried about any trouble caused by her sudden disappearance from the military area. 1 week in the real world, Yang Dong studied at Crimson Magic Academy for 7 months, mastered more magic, and even started to create her own magic. Unlike Yang Dong, who only entered Crimson Magic Academy at night, Cheng Xin stayed at Crimson Magic Academy both during the day and night this week, so her time in the academy was far longer than 7 months. She had been studying here for 2 years. He has surpassed Yang Dong in terms of magic knowledge. The two would chat often when they were in the Magic Academy. Cheng Xin already knew that Yang Dong had defected to the military region and planned to popularize magic to the outside world. The top management of the Rabbit country had also agreed and was now preparing related matters. This made Cheng Xin even more sure that her choice was correct. The future era must be an era of magic. Only by mastering more magic knowledge can it be easier to stay at the forefront of the times. Matters related to the Tri-Solaran civilization and the Edo organization have been reported to other countries by the top leaders of the Rabbit country. Naturally, no one believed it at first, and some countries even laughed at the Rabbit country. But as the Rabbit country came up with more evidence, they seemed to be constipated and couldn't laugh anymore. In recent days, the United Nations is holding meetings of various sizes on this matter. Relevant departments for the Edo organization were quickly established, and began to investigate and arrest members of the Edo organization all over the world. Some members of the Edo organization were arrested and interrogated to reveal more and more information about the Edo organization and the Tri-Solaran civilization. This proves beyond a doubt that everything Rabbit country says is true. Shen Yufei knew that the Edo organization was exposed and many members were arrested, but she didn't care about it. She spent this week learning 2 magic tricks. She has determined that there is nothing wrong with the power of magic. Although the number of magic recorded in that book is not large and not powerful, it is undoubtedly a complete system. As long as there is magic power, all kinds of magical phenomena can be caused. Perhaps after understanding the contents of this book, the Lord, Three-Body Man, can launch new products faster and develop new ones that can solve the three-body problem of magic. Finally today, Shen Yufei reported the magic to the Lord, Tri-Solaran, through Tomoko, and opened the book page by page, asking Tomoko to record the information inside. After the Tri-Solaran civilization obtained this knowledge, Tri-Solaran scientists began to analyze these magical materials. Advertisement: The Tri-Solaran asked Shen Yufei about the origin of this book through Tomoko. Shen Yufei told the truth, but she didn't know much, and at the same time she felt more and more regretful. It would have been better if she could have asked for that person's name and left his contact information over there with the Tri-Solaran civilization. In order to verify as soon as possible whether the power of magic can be mastered by the Tri-Solarans, the Tri-Solarans use people at the bottom of civilization as guinea pigs to let them meditate and communicate with the source of magic. As the mice gained magic power one after another, Tri-Solaran scientists also began to test the magic power. Although magic is also a kind of energy, it is different from conventional energy. It is not any kind of energy that Tri-Solarans have ever seen. They cannot even detect the characteristics of this energy. As the Tri-Solarans who acted as guinea pigs learned magic one by one, the Tri-Solarans learned that this system named magic could also be learned and mastered by them. Therefore, many magic research groups were established in the Tri-Solaran civilization, and they began to study the magic system and try to develop new magic. At the same time, they let more mice participate in the practice of magic, but before magic is truly popularized, the Tri-Solaran civilization will not promote this system in its own society, for fear of pitfalls. What no one noticed was that the consciousness of one of these Tri-Solaran mice had been temporarily replaced by Evan using cost magic, and he had used a clemency on himself to prevent the transparent mind of this body from exposing himself. The three-body man controlled by Evan opened his eyes and looked around. After he confirmed that this place was really the Tri-Solaran civilization, he withdrew his consciousness from the body of this Tri-Solaran man. The three-body man returned to normal and didn't realize that for a moment, his body was occupied by someone. No one else noticed either. One day half a month later. Outside the suburbs of the capital of Rabbit Country, a very special academy has opened. This is the first magic academy established in the Rabbit Kingdom. It is heavily defended and guarded by many soldiers. Most of the first batch of students admitted here were soldiers, while a few were scientists in various fields. The reason why scientists are invited is to allow scientists to get in touch with magic as soon as possible, and then conduct in-depth research on the magic system, and constantly introduce new ones. Zero advertisement. Many of the scientists admitted here are well-known figures, such as Dr. Wang Miao and Dr. Ding Yi. There are also well-known characters among the military students, such as Zhang Bahai. In addition to the military and scientists, some special domestic individuals are also required to enroll, such as police officer Shi Qiang. The lecturers of this college are Dr. Yang Dong and Dr. Cheng Xin. At present, the older students who come to this school for further studies do not know what this school teaches. Their superiors just ask them to come here for further studies. For example, two doctors, Wang Miao and Ding Yi, did not know the purpose of their superiors asking them to come here to study. At the moment, this group of older students were waiting in the school playground. 0. Suddenly, Dr. Ding Yi saw Dr. Yang Dong, whom he had pursued, walking from a distance. He just wanted to go over and say hello to him, but found that he was walking towards the stage. Dr. Ding Yi realized that Chang might be an insider. Yang Dong walked up to the microphone on the high platform. My name is Yang Dong, and I am the dean of this college. I think many people in the audience still don't know why they came here, and they don't know what they want to learn here. I can answer this question first. This school is officially established and recruits students from military soldiers and scientists from the scientific community. The purpose is to allow you to contact and learn a knowledge that I call magic. As soon as the words fell, the place below suddenly became noisy. Magic or something, it sounds outrageous. Yang Dong ignored the noise below and continued, don't you think it's incredible? At first, I refused to believe it like you, but magic exists. People above have realized this. This is why this college can the truth behind its establishment, and the reason why you are here. Magic is not what you think. It is similar to science. Both need to gather the wisdom of everyone to continuously introduce new things. So far, the magic we have mastered has exceeded our technological level. Now we need to transform our civilization from a one-way street of only developing technology to a two-way street of science and magic. And you will be the first people in human civilization to come into contact with magic. In order to let everyone have a deep understanding of what magic is, next I will perform a magic show for everyone with Dr. Cheng Xin, the deputy dean of our school. Chapter 111. Are you kidding? This is all just to expose us all to superstition. Dr. Wang Miao thought this was ridiculous. Not necessarily. Didn't you see that the military was involved? How could this college be run without instructions from above? Dr. Ding Yi said. But even so, it's hard for me to believe this kind of thing. Wang Miao said. We will soon know whether it is true or false. Dr. Ding Yi was in a trance when she said this. The goddess Yang Dong, whom she had been pursuing but could not get, has now transformed into a goddess of this college. Dean, he still wants to spread magic, which seems a bit unreal to him. On the other side of the military students, Zhang Bahai was thoughtful. He is a person who is good at thinking. At the moment, he was thinking, does magic really exist? 850. If this is true, I am afraid it will change the historical process of the entire world. And they will also be the first witnesses. On the stage, Yang Dong left the microphone. Cheng Xin also walked from behind the scenes to the stage. The two stood facing each other. In front of thousands of older students in the audience, the magic performance began. Cheng Xin made the first move with a blazing fireball. A huge fireball with a diameter of 3 meters appeared out of thin air, carrying a high-temperature heat wave, rolling on the ground, and crushing towards Yang Dong. Yang Dong silently recited the spell and cast the change spell Swan Wings. A pair of angel-like wings sprouted from her back. Between her wings and the cave, she lifted off from where she was and avoided the candle flame fireball that could only roll on the ground. Seeing this, Cheng Xin dispersed the fireball, then silently recited a spell and activated the second spell. Then he saw balls of light floating out from Cheng Xin's body. These light balls suddenly burst into bright light. This is a flash technique that can blind people. But when Cheng Xin used this move, Yang Tu had already closed his eyes in advance. Cheng Xin's flash technique did not dodge Yang Dong, but it dodged the older students in the audience. However, because the students were far away and it was daytime, the students were not blinded by the flash. At most, they were blinded. Eyes hurt. Advertisement. The spell exchange between the two became more and more exciting, and the two women were able to master various spells at their fingertips. The mirage technique that can create mirages constantly changes the environment on the stage. A large number of advanced phantoms that could form phantom duplication appeared, causing multiple Yang Dong and Cheng Xin to appear on the field at the same time. Release the sonic boom, ice cone, and dragon extinguishing techniques that can cause powerful damage. There are also rainbow rays with rainbow special effects and fire magic that can control flames. All kinds of magic emerge in endlessly. The students in the audience were dumbfounded. This is super ability. But if it's super ability, then the two people have too many super abilities. Is it really magic? Gradually, more and more people believe that it is magic. This performance lasted as long as it lasted before it was over. But then there's the show. Cheng Xin stepped back from the stage. Yang Dong walked to the microphone again and said to the people in the audience, "The magic used by Vice Dean Cheng Xin and I are all conventional magic, but magic is not such a superficial thing, it also symbolizes rule and mystery. Someone once told me that there are some extremely special magics in magic. In the face of that kind of magic, reality is as fragile as a piece of paper. Now, Mr. Evan Nelson, a visiting professor of our college, is here to demonstrate the advanced steps for you. Magic." Just as Yang Dong finished speaking, space began to distort 3 meters above the stage, forming a pitch-black wormhole, which attracted everyone's attention. A man who looked very sunny walked out of the wormhole and floated in the air. He used amplification and spoke in smooth Mandarin, "I think you will wonder about my race, but there is no need, because I taught Dr. Yang Dong and Dr. Cheng Xin their magic. Next, I will demonstrate some more special magic for you. In the magic system, there are wish spells that can alter reality, creation spells that can create things out of thin air, and there are also extremely destructive attack spells. The first magic I will show is magic that works on the rules of reality. No matter who you are or how powerful you are, I can make you your own enemy. This magic is called Real Mirror." Evan casts a spell, and a mirror of huge amounts appears on the stage. Advertisement: "Do you believe that you can come out of the mirror? Who is willing to try?" The people in the audience looked at each other. "Let yourself out in the mirror? Is it possible?" Zhang Bahai volunteered and stepped onto the stage. He looked at himself in the mirror. Under the gaze of the audience, he actually stepped out of the mirror and launched an attack on Zhang Bahai. Zhang Bahai began to fight back. Zhang Bahai discovered that the self who stepped out of the mirror knew all the fighting skills he knew, and his mastery of fighting skills was no different from his own. Even his behavioral habits were the same. This made Zhang Bahai realize how magical and incredible this magic was. Everyone in the audience could also see the similarity between the two Bahais fighting on the stage. After that, more and more people came on stage to try. The replicating experience of soldiers plays against soldiers, and the replicating experience of scientists discusses science with scientists. In the end, everyone came to the conclusion that the person copied by the real mirror technique has 100% of the knowledge and ability of the original body. When all the clones dissipated and everyone returned to the audience, Evan said, "Real Mirror 0.5 is a modification of reality. Its upper limit is much higher than you think. Not only can it copy people, but it can also copy various machines, various weapons, and even nuclear bombs. Even if the person standing in front of you is man is God, and he can also copy God completely and let God fight with himself. I think you can all think of more ways to use this magic, so I won't go into details." Evan snapped his fingers. With the snap of fingers, the huge amounts of mirror on the stage disappeared out of thin air. "What I demonstrated just now is a real-life magic, and the next one will be magic that can control physical rules," Evan said. The older scientist students in the audience had their pupils shrunken. Manipulating physics rules? In their opinion, this has exceeded the level that human beings can achieve with today's technology. Chapter 112. Evan fell from mid-air to the stage and began to demonstrate the magic of manipulating physics rules to the students in the audience. The first is that it can connect to any door around the world. Then there is the secondary creation spell that can create things out of thin air. Then there is Feng Kaokuman, which changes the physical parameters of the environment. Finally, there is the traceless extension that can extend the space. Each piece of magic was displayed, making the older students in the audience deeply aware of the magic of magic. A new era is probably coming. Evan continued, magic is an application based on magic power. It is different from technology. It does not require so many equipment and can be realized by individuals. But this is not the only advantage of magic. Its real advantage is that we can also make magic into props, which are often referred to as magic props in fantasy literature. He pulled out a metal brick that looked like gold out of thin air. "This is a magic item made from the gold essence that I extracted from gold with magic. Don't look at it like a gold brick. In fact, it is a female-style gold armor. Is there anyone in the audience?" "Madam, would you like to come up and give it a try? A female soldier volunteered to raise her hand and was called up by 08 Evangelist. Evan handed the gold brick to the other party's hand and said to her, "You know how to recognize the owner if you drop blood. You only need to drop your own blood on it and you will know how to use it." This piece of equipment is the same model as the one Evan gave to Gwen, but it is not the same piece, but was built by Evan later. The female soldier nodded excitedly. She was not afraid of pain, so she bit her fingertip and blood flowed out. She dropped the blood on the gold brick. Under everyone's gaze, something magical happened. Advertisement: the gold brick turned from solid to virtual and integrated into the body of the female soldier. The female soldier seemed to have something in her mind. As soon as she thought about it, a golden battlesuit with wings appeared on her body out of thin air. The people in the audience exclaimed in disbelief. Evan smiled and said, "I think many of you here may have watched the cartoon Saint Seiya when they were children. And this armor was modeled on the sacred clothing of Athena in that cartoon. It has enough defensive power to resist anti-material firearms and even missiles head-on. It can also enable the wearer to fly at supersonic speeds, increase strength, speed, and explosive power, and can be retracted from the body and released from the body at any time." After hearing this, the female soldier began to try. This set of armor automatically retracted into her body, and then the armor resurfaced again. She tried to control the golden wings behind the armor. The wings began to flap, and the female soldier took off on the spot. Although it was her first time to fly and she was not very skilled at flying, causing her to stagger as if she was about to fall down at any moment, she did fly. There were even more exclamations from the audience. Not long after, the female soldier fell down. Evan said to her, "You are lucky. This set of equipment has been claimed by you. From now on, it will be yours. You can definitely give it to others for research. It doesn't matter. It depends on your own choice." "Thank you, Mr. Evan." The female soldier thanked her, jumped off the stage, and returned to the crowd. Then she was surrounded by a large group of female soldiers, who kept stroking the extremely attractive armor on her body. Evan continued, "Most of you here must have read fairy tale novels. Although magic and fairy tales are not the same thing, you can actually pretend to be a fairy by using magic." Like this, Evan opened his mouth and spit out a crystal sword. The crystal sword grew bigger and bigger, and soon became 5 meters long and 30 centimeters wide. It was suspended in front of Evangelist. Evan jumped on the crystal sword and performed a sword flight in public. Many of the soldiers and students in the audience were fans of fairy novels. After seeing this scene, their eyes lit up, and they couldn't help but begin to dream about their future as sword-wielding flight. Advertisement: Evan stepped on the flying sword, flew in midair which was not too high, and said using amplification, "This crystal sword is also a magic prop made by me. I named it the Crystal Flying Sword. After dripping blood to identify its owner, people can control it to grow or shrink through their own consciousness. It can also cut off objects at the molecular level. Even if the molecules of that object are fixed to death by the strong interaction force and are as hard as a neutron star, they will still be cut off by it with a sword." Evan's words were not only addressed to the students in the audience, but also to Tomoko, who was peeping here. He was telling the Trisolarans that it is better not to send your water droplets to the earth, but our crystals. The sword can cut 10 with one strike. The scientists in the audience all felt incredible. Materials with strong interaction forces that give molecules a dead end are already very science fiction. In theory, such materials will be many times harder than the hardest things in the solar system. It is hard to imagine that this crystal sword can actually interact from the molecular level. Cut off that object. Up to now, this group of scientists' belief in science has been seriously shaken. Instead, they are looking forward to magic more and more. They are extremely excited when they think that they can learn this kind of knowledge called magic here in the next period of time. Evan jumped off the flying sword. The crystal flying sword was put away by Evangelist. Technology can make people's lives better, and so can magic. It's just that one is a technological product, and the other is a magic prop. Let me give an analogy. When the weather is hot, people are used to using air conditioners to cool down their homes. If in terms of magic, you can make a prop that can continuously absorb heat to achieve the same purpose. As for productivity, there is also alchemy in magic, which allows people to refine materials and precisely shape the refined materials. Forming various parts, even this process can originally be replaced by magic alchemy machinery, completely liberating manpower. What I want to say is that magic is not just something that can be used to fight and kill. It is more important to use magic to help us improve our lives and understand the truth of the world. After Evan finished speaking, the scientists in the audience took the lead in applauding, and led the soldiers to also applaud. That's all I have to say. Evan waved goodbye to everyone. Behind him, a pitch-black wormhole appeared. Evan took a step back and entered the wormhole. The wormhole also disappeared. Zhang Bahai in the audience finally understood why his father had secured a place for him to study here. It turned out that this place would be the turning point of human civilization. On the other side, Dr. Wang Miao and Dr. Ding Yi looked at each other, and they could see the excitement in each other's eyes. It was the excitement that only comes when facing unknown fields. Like Wang Miao and Ding Yi, other scientists here are also very excited. They can't wait to learn magic knowledge. Palm 113. After the senior leaders of the Tri-Solaround civilization saw through Safan the many high-level magics displayed by Evan in the Magic Academy in the human world, as well as the display of magic props, they fell into a brief silence. What human scientists can realize, these high-level officials of the Tri-Solaround civilization can also realize. That kind of power called magic is really like technology, a broad road that leads directly to the truth. If humans transform into a magical civilization, the Safans of their Tri-Solaround civilization will not be able to block their magical progress like they block technology. Although they can use Safans to see everything in the human world, as Dr. Yang Dong among humans said, once magic becomes popular, both worlds will be on the same starting line. The human civilization that has mastered magic is probably no longer the insect civilization they think it is, but a civilization that needs to be viewed from the same level. Not to mention how troubled the Tri-Solaround civilization is, this magic academy located on the outskirts of the capital of the Rabbit Country has officially opened. The name of the school is not eye-catching, it is called Xingxing Technology School. This name is used to deceive others, and the main purpose is to hide it from people from other countries. Although this matter may not be concealed soon, it can be concealed as long as it lasts, as long as it ensures that the Rabbit Kingdom has a leading edge in magic. As for the person named Evan Nelson, although he is not from the Rabbit Country, he obviously has no intention of setting up a magic academy in the Lighthouse Country. On the contrary, Yang Dong, the dean of Xingxing Technology School, and Cheng Xin, the deputy dean, were both taught by him. This seems a bit strange to the senior officials of Rabbit Country, but it is a good thing for them. Evan Nelson's identity has been found out by people from Rabbit Country, and his nationality is known. He lives in Los Angeles, is the CEO of a film and television company, and has a journalist wife named Kayla Danvers. Evan's career also left the senior management of Rabbit Country speechless. Shen Yufei learned through Tomoko that a school called Xingxing Technical College had appeared on the outskirts of the capital, where magic knowledge was being taught. Although Shen Yufei was surprised, she was not surprised. The person who originally gave the knowledge of magic to himself can naturally give it to more people. As an Edo rescuer, Shen Yufei does not object to the transformation of human civilization into a magical civilization. Rather, she is looking forward to it. Perhaps the transformed human civilization will be better than it is now. But not everyone in the Edo organization thinks so, especially the madmen from the Adventist sect who are called cultists. They even started clamoring to grow mushrooms at the emerging Institute of Technology. However, this proposal was immediately rejected by Edo leader Yi Vince vetoed it because the Lord needed that school to exist. Advertisement. The purpose of the Tri-Solarans is probably to steal more magic knowledge from there. Lighthouse Country time, early morning. Evan and Kayla are having breakfast. At a certain moment, the two of them turned their heads at the same time and looked somewhere at home. Because they perceived that there was a line of sight falling on the two of them. Kayla didn't see anything from there, so she turned on supervision and saw the source of the sight from a microscopic level. She asked uncertainly, "Are those subatomic particles?" To be precise, they are subatomic particles that have been processed by alien civilizations. They are called Safans. They are extremely small artificial intelligences. So we are being monitored by aliens. On the Tri-Solaround civilization side, they were horrified to discover that the proton they sent to monitor Evan could actually be seen by them. They immediately ordered the proton to stay away from the two people, but it was already too late. Evan manipulated the magnetic force out of thin air, tightly bound the proton, and successfully captured it. Evan pulled Tomoko in front of him and said to Tomoko, "I suggest you don't send Tomoko to me, otherwise you will catch each one." After Evan finished speaking, he sealed the proton and threw it into the game world. The communication method between Safans and Safans is quantum entanglement, and quantum entanglement cannot establish a connection between reality and the game world. Once a siphon is thrown into the game world, it means that the siphon will completely lose contact with the Trisolarans and become a human. As a separate artificial intelligence individual. This siphon that was thrown into the game world was taken away and trained by an artificial intelligence robot from Evan. I believe that after a period of training, this siphon's artificial intelligence will be dominated by Evan and become Evan's thing. After Tomoko was captured by Evan, the Trisolaran civilization exploded. This human race is so evil. There are actually individuals like Evan and Kayla in the human race, who can see the microscopic world with the naked eye. If that's all, forget it, they can actually capture Tomoko with their bare hands. This is too much. Advertisement. Is this really an ability that carbon-based bioenergy has? Or is this actually the ability given to them by magic? If it is really magic, then the importance of magic is much more important than they imagined. Now humans have begun to establish academies to popularize magic. The Trisolaran civilization still has doubts about magic. It only dares to promote it on a small scale in the civilization because it is worried that there will be big pitfalls in magic. Even now, they still don't understand what the magic source communicated through meditation is. Before they understand this, they will not dare to transform into a magical civilization. Is this world about to be invaded by aliens? Kayla frowned. As long as I'm here, it won't happen. In front of Kayla, Evan has always shown himself to be as great and upright as possible, because Kayla likes him as a great and upright person. If Evan is a guy who always likes to engage in secret intrigues, he will probably lose Kayla's favorability. That, Zhao Ziyahao, microscopic monitor just now is so powerful. If it weren't for us, no one would be able to detect it. Don't worry about this. Let the simulation robot go to work instead of you today. Let's go out on a date. Okay, where are you going to take me on a date? Kayla smiled, her eyes narrowed into beautiful crescent moons. How about going to Rabbit Country? Okay, I haven't been there yet. After breakfast, Evan took out the robot that he had given Kayla and asked her to go to work in the media company instead of Kayla. Evan took Kayla to the Rabbit Country. It is worth mentioning that although it was not mentioned in the previous article, Evan has not given up on his own practice these days. Up to now, his immortal heaven skill has been practiced to the great perfection of the Deo Palace secret realm. It is estimated that he will be able to break through in a few days. To the four-pole secret realm demon. Chapter 114. At the moment, the time zone of Rabbit Country has just fallen into the night. Evan and Kayla came to a bustling night market in the capital and strolled here. There are many food stalls here, and Kayla quickly fell in love with the various snacks here. Half of Evan's mind is on the present, and the other half is on the perception of seal magic. He can perceive that many people are communicating with him through meditation and borrowing magic power from him. Normally, when encountering something like this, Evan would lend his magic power out of hesitation. But if someone has already borrowed magic power once and wants to borrow it again, Evan will refuse. The magic meditation method taught by Evan has the trick of magic mark, which means that people who obtain his magic power will automatically imprint their own magic mark on the magic power, so that the magic power can be recycled by them again and again. This kind of magic power will not be lost at all no matter how it is used. So far, more than 3,000 people on the earth have borrowed magic from Evan, and most of these people are from the newly opened college on the outskirts of the capital. On the Trisolaran civilization side, there are about 1,000 Trisolarans and Evan to lend their strength. Magic is deeply related to the soul. Once the magic with Evan's mark is used, it is basically impossible to escape from his control. This allows Evan to control those who use magic 930 regardless of distance, or it's about charging them a price, such as lives and souls. Although Evan has lent a lot of his magic power, his own magic power has always been at full value, because after the magic power is loaned out, Evan's vitality will automatically be consumed to replenish his magic power. As long as he can ensure that his vitality is sufficient, there will be no danger of empty blue. And he currently does not lack vitality. Not to mention that he has Wolverine's self-healing factor. Even he himself is a humanoid energy converter. He can convert any form of energy into energy produced by his own cultivation. It can be turned into his vitality, and the vitality can reversely replenish the magic power. This is the advantage of studying multiple systems. With this advantage, even if he lends his magic power to all humans and Trisolarans in the two civilizations, he will not feel weak. He and Kayla spent a few days in Rabbit Country before returning to Los Angeles. For a long time, Evan stayed at home and practiced hard. The magic school on the outskirts of the capital of Rabbit Country has trained many talents who master magic. Later, other countries discovered this and became interested. After a certain exchange of interests, the magic school welcomed international students from various countries. These international students, AEB, were sent by their respective countries to learn magic. Advertisement. It is not difficult to imagine that when they succeed in their studies here, they will definitely bring the knowledge of magic back to their respective countries. By then, more magic schools will pop up, and human civilization will also transform into a magical civilization. Evan no longer pays attention to these, and only practices behind closed doors. It is commonly known that he plays with himself. He only occasionally pays attention to the outside world and the Tri-Solaran civilization. As time went by, the Tri-Solaran civilization saw through S.H.I.E.L.D that more and more people in human civilization mastered magic, and more new magic was being researched by humans, so they became a little anxious. Since no problems have been found in this system so far, then there is probably no problem. So the Tri-Solaran civilization began to use the magic knowledge learned from the human world in its own civilization due to its popularity. Evan, who was practicing in seclusion at home, suddenly felt that there were many Tri-Solaran people in the Tri-Solaran civilization who were borrowing magic power from themselves through meditation. Evan lent his magic power without hesitation. Because he borrowed too much at once, Evan was a little weak and had to take several small arc reactors to recharge himself before he recovered. Being so tired is not without its benefits. Ever since the Tri-Solaran civilization popularized magic, they have naturally come under Evan's control. Evan came up with an idea and connected with a scientist from the Tri-Solaran civilization who was practicing magic, temporarily occupying the other person's body. He used the body of the Tri-Solaran scientist to browse various advanced technological knowledge within the Tri-Solaran civilization. This knowledge includes strong interaction material technology, siphon engineering technology, quantum communication technology, various microdimensional technologies, various materials science technologies, new energy technologies, and so on. There is so much knowledge about these technologies that even if Evan were to learn it, he would have to study for a long time. Fortunately, he has plenty of time. Time has come to 2007, which is the year when the plot in the original work begins. But by now, the plot has long since collapsed. This year, both human civilization and Tri-Solaran civilization are transforming into magical civilization. Compared with technology, magic has many advantages, such as easier access to the truth of the world. The two major civilizations are constantly innovating in magic, and a large number of new magic and magic technologies are born every day. These newly born magics and magic technologies were accepted by Evan without hesitation, making his knowledge of magic deeper and deeper. At the same time, Evan did not give up his practice of never coming back. By now, his cultivation has broken through to the first level of the immortal stage secret realm, equaling his cultivation in other systems. Advertisement on April 3, 2007, a big event happened. Dr. Ding Yi developed a spell that is crucial to civilization. It is a spell similar to any door, which can achieve interstellar long-distance transmission. This magic was named by Ding Yi, Space Gate. As soon as this magic was developed, the Tri-Solaran civilization stole the knowledge of this magic from Dr. Gongai through Siphon. With this magic, there is no distance between the two civilizations. This also means that they can invade each other. The magic level of the two civilizations is similar, but the gap in technology is huge. The current technological level of human civilization is still far behind the Tri-Solaran civilization. If the Tri-Solaran civilization were to invade human civilization would have no ability to resist. At this time, Evan secretly took action. He used cost magic combined with psychic super ability to brainwash the top executives of the Tri-Solaran civilization who had practiced magic. Stop them from invading Earth. But this brainwashing was not thorough. He did it deliberately. Although the Tri-Solaran civilization will not invade the Earth, this does not mean that they will not invade the solar system. A few days later, on Mars in the solar system, a space door of huge amounts opened, and Tri-Solaran warships flew out. Tri-Solarans want to live on Mars. Although the environment on Mars is not very good, it is better than their home planet. At least it has always been the constant era here. With the technological level of the Tri-Solaran civilization, it is easy to transform just Mars. Because the Tri-Solaran fleet arrived relatively low-key, human civilization has not yet discovered that Mars in its own solar system has been occupied by the Tri-Solarans. Now the two major civilizations have truly become neighbors. Chapter 115. Rabbit Country Time Zone, Midnight. Yang Dong and Cheng Xin came to Crimson Magic Academy again. Now both of them have graduated from Crimson Magic Academy, but they still come here every night. Because the time here is expanded, they can have longer time here for magic research. The key is that the two also discovered that no matter how long they stay here, people will not grow old. This alone is attractive enough. The two people who came here did not see Lenora, but they saw Fu Wen here. So they walked over and greeted Gawain. You are here just in time. There is some information you need to know. Dr. Ding Yi has developed a magic called Space Gate. You should all know about this, right? Evan will be here, obviously waiting for the two of them. The two women nodded, indicating that they understood. Not many people know about the magic developed by Dr. Ding Yi. Currently, only a few senior officials in the Rabbit Country know about it. The Space Gate magic is very powerful. It can theoretically achieve interstellar teleportation, Cheng Xin said. Did the Tri-Solaran civilization steal this magic and use it to invade the Earth? Yang Dong's face turned serious as he thought of this possibility. Yes, the Tri-Solaran civilization has stolen it a few days ago and has now mastered it. Their fleet has arrived in the solar system and is stationed on Mars. Now they are transforming the environment of Mars. With their technological level, if they are going to invade the Earth, and human civilization will have no ability to resist. Evan said in a deep voice. The two female doctors were immediately shocked. What should we do? Can we be saved? Cheng was anxious. Evan started talking nonsense seriously. Don't worry, you have all heard me popularize the Dark Forest Law. In the universe, civilizations are born and die every moment. I once rescued a civilization that was attacked by the Dark Forest during interstellar travel. She is a relatively special individual. She is also the only survivor of that civilization. Her individual strength is very strong. When you leave here, go find her and go with her to the home planet of the Tri-Solaran civilization to find their senior officials. Negotiate. Use her individual strength to deter the Tri-Solaran civilization and allow the two civilizations to coexist peacefully. Who are you talking about? Yang Dong asked. My wife, Kayla. Evan gave Kayla a new persona. Yang Dong. Cheng Xin. Advertisement. I've heard about your wife, but she should be no different from us humans, right? Do aliens look similar to humans? Yang Dong was puzzled. You can consider this a coincidence. With heavy hearts, Yang Dong and Cheng Xin left Crimson Magic Academy. The two of them split up. Cheng Xin went to the Lighthouse Country to find Kayla, while Yang Dong went to the top management of the Rabbit Country to inform them that the Tri-Solaran civilization had invaded the solar system. When the senior officials of the Rabbit Country learned about it, they were also shocked and hurriedly reported the matter to the United Nations, where an emergency meeting was convened. In the middle of the meeting, Cheng Xin rushed to the scene with Kayla. Representatives from various countries had heard Yang Dong talk about Kayla before and knew that Kayla was the last survivor of a certain civilization in the universe and had extremely strong individual strength. But no one saw any alien qualities in Kayla. No matter how they looked at her, she was an ordinary blonde woman. Until Kayla showed them what it means to escape the atmosphere. Kayla is no longer the same Kayla she once was. She has been strengthened by Evan through various means, and her overall strength is at least 10 times stronger than Superman. How strong is she exactly? Let's put it this way, she can accelerate to nearly the speed of light in the atmosphere for a short time, and in the vacuum of the universe, she can accelerate to nearly the speed of light instantly. Her body of steel is stronger than a neutron star. Her heat sight is powerful enough to penetrate the moon in 10 seconds. Her hearing can cover the world at the same time and listen to all sounds in the world. Her freezing breath is enough to freeze half of the earth in one breath. The key is that she does not have a weak point of low magic resistance. On the contrary, her magic resistance is very high, making it difficult for magic to target her. This is very close to the level of Superman in the Silver Age. If I had to say she had a weakness, it would be cyanide. But there is no such thing as kryptonite in this universe. Although Kayla's strength is nothing compared to the god-level civilization in this universe, it is enough to be considered invincible among the Earth civilization and the Tri-Solaran civilization. Advertisement. Kayla's simple display of strength shocked the jaws of everyone present. 0, please give me flowers. Then she became the representative of human civilization, responsible for negotiating with the Tri-Solaran civilization on behalf of the human civilization layer. Before that, the Tri-Solaran civilization had already seen through Safon that Kayla's ability to transcend the atmosphere. Now the Tri-Solaran people are holding an emergency meeting to discuss what attitude they should use to face this representative of human civilization. There is no doubt that the Tri-Solarans already know that Kayla has the ability to destroy their civilization's home planet by herself. In the face of this absolute strength, most of their technological weapons are inoperable. Even if there are very few weapons that can hurt Kayla, they must be able to hit the opponent. But with the opponent's level of super speed, it might be difficult to hit. There are 3 people responsible for negotiating with the Tri-Solaran civilization on behalf of human civilization, namely Kayla, Cheng Xin, and LHG Secretary General Ms. Se. The 3 people passed through the magic door and arrived at the home planet of the Tri-Solaran civilization. I have to say that the environment here is really bad. Obviously, the Tri-Solaran civilization during this period was still in an era of chaos, and the movement of the sun was irregular. Kayla's physique is very good and she doesn't have to worry about environmental issues. Cheng Xin and Sai felt very uncomfortable and had to use protective magic to protect themselves in order to barely survive in this environment. It is hard to imagine that the Tri-Solaran civilization can survive and thrive in such a harsh environment. You have to admire them in this aspect alone. Not long after they arrived here, a flight vehicle came to pick up the 3 of them. The 3 of them also saw the appearance of the Tri-Solaran for the first time. The skin of the Tri-Solarans is very smooth as a mirror. This mirror can reflect excess sunlight, ensuring that they can survive in hot environments. The mirror-like skin can change its shape-shifting state at any time, losing its reflective properties and becoming a skin material that easily absorbs sunlight, thereby maintaining the body's body temperature and adapting to low-temperature environments. If they encounter extreme environments that they cannot adapt to, they can also dehydrate and turn into something like dry fiber. This kind of life form seems to have fully maximized the survival of the fittest ability, making it easier for them to survive in various harsh environments. Chapter 116. Dr. Cheng Xin and Secretary General Ms. Sai, as the first people in human civilization to make 5th-type contact with aliens, were a little nervous. Especially when they were still in the alien base camp at the moment, they were even more nervous. However, they felt a little relieved when they thought that Kayla, whose individual strength was beyond the ordinary, was by their side. The Tri-Solaran who was responsible for piloting the flight machine to pick them up remained silent and did not speak. Tri-Solarans also do not have vocal organs, and the communication between their races does not use vocal organs, but more efficient racial abilities, such as transparent thinking. It didn't take long for them to arrive. Here, the 3 women met the top leaders of the Tri-Solaran civilization. They used some kind of onomatopoeia equipment to simulate the language of humans on Earth to communicate with the 3 people. This is a negotiation between civilization and civilization 170. There is only one core idea in negotiation, and that is survival. Humans are worried that Tri-Solaran civilization will destroy themselves, and Tri-Solaran civilization is worried that Kayla will destroy itself. Since we all have deterrence, we can only discuss how to peacefully coexist with each other. The negotiation process will not be discussed here. The result of the negotiation is that the Tri-Solaran civilization will not invade the Earth, and humans will give Mars to the Tri-Solarans, but the condition is that the Tri-Solarans must remove the blockade of basic science on humans. These are all LHG Secretary General Ms. Se talking to the senior officials of Tri-Solaran civilization, and they definitely talked about more things. After the negotiation, the 3 of them stayed on Earth in the Tri-Solaran civilization for a week and visited the human geography of the Tri-Solaran civilization. It wasn't until a week later that they returned to Earth. Shortly after this, various countries on the Earth promulgated a series of new laws. These laws are related to humans and Tri-Solaran civilization. As humans on the weaker side, some humans believe that closer ties should be established with the Tri-Solaran civilization. Although not everyone agrees with this proposal, it was eventually implemented. Advertisement: the Tri-Solarans are more rational. Since they cannot destroy humans, they can only try to integrate with human civilization. The Tri-Solaran civilization sent people to the Earth, established a consulate of the Tri-Solaran civilization on the Earth, and initiated recruitment to human civilization, providing various high-paying positions to jointly participate in the construction of Mars. Among human beings, people are really not afraid of death and apply for jobs. Human civilization has also provided many jobs for Tri-Solarans, and Tri-Solaran civilization is not stingy either. If you have jobs, we will have people. There are many extremists in both civilizations. In the early stage of the integration of the two major civilizations, these guys caused a lot of trouble, but this is not harmful. People gradually discovered that Trisolarans can be seen everywhere on the Earth. The Trisolaran civilization has a new home planet, Mars, where many humans can also be seen. 10 years passed quietly. In the past 10 years, human civilization and Trisolaran civilization have integrated to a considerable extent. There have even been intermarriages between humans and Trisolarans. The Trisolaran civilization has advanced genetic modification technology, which allows the reproductive isolation between the two races to be easily overcome. Today, many hybrids of humans and Trisolarans have appeared in the two places. Many advanced technologies in the Trisolaran civilization have also flowed into human civilization, which has qualitatively improved the science and technology of human civilization. I believe that in tens or hundreds of years, we will be able to equal the Trisolaran civilization. The integration of the two major civilizations, who is the most embarrassing, is undoubtedly the guys in the Adventist faction of the Edo organization. Most of those guys have been arrested, but a few are still on the run and are wanted by the two major civilizations. They are living a miserable life and are simply not human inside and out. Fortunately, the people of the Edo rescue faction left the two organization one after another after the two major civilizations integrated. The collision between civilizations has created a lot of sparks, and the technology of the Trisolaran civilization has also entered the big explosion stage, improving rapidly. The magic technology of the two civilizations is also advancing rapidly, and they have begun to use space-gate magic to explore the surrounding star fields, and have discovered some pretty good planets that can be inhabited with just a little modification. However, due to population problems, the colonial plan has not yet been launched. Evan and Kayla hide their fame and success and continue to live a low-key life. Advertisement: Evan spent 10 years in the real world and more than 150 years in the training room to practice, and practiced the immortal heavenly art to the level of a saint in the fifth heaven of Sendai. Evan at the saint level has a physical combat power that is approximately equal to that of Silver Superman. Counting magical powers, it is firmly ahead of Silver Superman 0. Like the sun in the solar system, he can shatter it with a wave of his hand or refine it in an instant. Evan also built himself a holy weapon. Although the material used is not particularly good, it is indeed a holy weapon at the saint level. The style of this weapon is as shown in the picture. The diagram is handed over to Tao and Principal, and is engraved with what Evan has learned, including but not limited to formation knowledge, magic knowledge, supernatural power knowledge, and technological knowledge. Its name is Kyunkan diagram. By activating the Kyunkan diagram, an array space will be formed. The volume of the array space is large enough to instantly accommodate everything within a 1 light-year diameter spherical range. The formation space composed of the Kyunkan diagram can also be used as a trapping formation, a killing formation, a confusing formation, a formation cave, and multiple functions are integrated into one. The environment inside the formation space can be freely transformed, and the formation space can also be extended outwards, turning everything within a half-light-year radius around itself into its own formation field, rewriting the reality within the range to a certain extent. On weekdays, the Kyunkan diagram can also be transformed into various styles of treasured clothes, which can be worn on the body. The Kyunkan level defense is enough to withstand external attacks at the level of a superplanet outbreak. In the future, as Evan improves his cultivation, masters the methods, and smelts higher materials into it, the level of this holy weapon will also increase, and it will eventually evolve into a Supreme Emperor weapon, or even a semi-immortal weapon or an immortal weapon. Device. In short, the future is promising. Now, with Evan's cultivation level of 0.7, coupled with this holy weapon, regardless of life level and only in terms of combat effectiveness, he thinks that some level single universe strongmen may not be able to do anything to him. Strong mythical level godfathers like Odin and Ancient One are no longer enough to be his opponents. At least the Infinity Gauntlet 6-gem Thanos has to come, and Thanos has to take the lead. If Evan takes the lead, Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet will be taken away by him in a confrontation. With such strength, Evan's sense of security has greatly increased. Counting the time, he and Kayla had been in the three-body plane for quite some time, and it was time to leave. He talked to Kayla about it. Kayla was not particularly willing to leave. She wanted to spend more time with Evan, but since Evan wanted to leave, she had no objection. Chapter 117. From the time Evan and Kayla set out for the Trisolaran plane until the two returned, only a little more than 2 hours had passed in the Marvel world, and the time was still at midnight in the Lighthouse Country time zone. In the game world, most of the players, including Wanda, Gwen, and Judy, are still in the unknown exploration copy and have not returned. Evan, Kayla, and Robot Lady Abigail returned home to the game world. Maybe after being away for too long, Kayla missed her adoptive mother on DC Earth 38, so as soon as she came back, she couldn't wait to say goodbye to Evan and left. Abigail went to the underground laboratory to work on her mechanical ascension project. Evan is the only one left at home. Evan wanted to know when Wanda, Gwen, and Judy would come back, so he used the ability of quantum observation to observe that plane. He found that the time on that side also flowed very fast, equivalent to a day here and half a month there. Currently, Wanda, Gwen, and Judy team up with the Avengers to explore that world together. It was a Western fantasy-style world, with fighting spirit and magic, and the style was even more magical than that of Lord of the Rings. According to 08's exploration progress, it may take another week in the real world before they can officially return. Evan looked away. Being a little bored, he simply used quantum observation to pass the time. He observes Marvel's different parallel time and space. Until he saw a pristine, unadulterated Marvel movie universe. This Marvel movie universe is different from the new timeline universe formed by Wanda's change in the past, which emphasizes an original flavor. Evan had observed that universe before, but he didn't pay much attention to it at the time. Looking back now, he found that the time there had passed the Ultron era, and both Wanda and Vision had joined the Avengers. It was visually expected that the two would get together in a while. Although Evan knows that this Wanda is different from Wanda, if Wanda in the original universe really gets together with Vision, Evan will still feel awkward. If you haven't seen this kind of thing, forget it. Now that you have seen it, you must stop it. Evan immediately set off and landed in the place he jokingly called the original universe. The time difference between the two universes is different. It does not mean that the time flow rate is different, it is just a simple time difference. Advertisement: it's daytime here. As soon as he arrived in the original universe, he went directly to the door of Avengers headquarters, walked straight in, and came to the reception desk. "Hello sir, how can I help you?" The receptionist asked Evan with a professional smile. "I have an important piece of information that I must tell the Avengers face to face." Evan gave a random reason. "You are the 7th person to come here to see the Avengers for this reason. Of the 6 people in front of you, 3 came to see the Avengers for autographs, and the other 3 were just here to cause trouble," the front desk lady said. The professional smile on his face remained the same, but his attitude changed subtly. Evan couldn't help but rolled his eyes. "Beautiful lady, look at my face. How could I, who is so handsome, be here to cause trouble? I really have important information to tell you, and this information is timely. You can't afford to delay it. You are indeed handsome, so let me give you a chance to convince me." The front desk lady looked at Evan with a smile, and acted like, "I'm right here, come and convince me." Evan felt that he might have been teased. Seeing that the front desk lady was so beautiful, she didn't pursue the matter of teasing her. "Can I borrow your phone?" Evan asked. He hadn't bought a mobile phone card in this original universe, the phone couldn't be used, and he didn't want to use super ability for the time being, so he had to borrow it from the other party. "Definitely." Seeing that the other party was a handsome guy, the beautiful receptionist readily took out her phone, unlocked it, and lent it to Evangelist. Evan entered a number on his phone and dialed it. He originally wanted to call Wanda's mobile phone number, but considering that Wanda's situation in the two worlds was different and her mobile phone number might be different, he simply dialed Maria Hill's mobile phone number. According to the plot of the movie, Maria Hill should be working in the Avengers Alliance during this period. The call was quickly answered and Evan put the phone on speakerphone. Maria Hill's voice came from the receiver. "Which one? Is this Miss Maria Hill?" Evan asked. The front desk lady couldn't help but widen her eyes, surprised that Evan actually had Maria Hill's number. The front desk lady knows that Maria Hill was once a high-level agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. She came to work here after S.H.I.E.L.D was disbanded, and she has a very high position. Advertisement: she couldn't help but guess Evan's identity. Could it be that the other party is also a former S.H.I.E.L.D agent? "It's me, are you? My name is Evan Nelson. I am currently on the first floor of Avengers Alliance headquarters. I have important information to tell you." "What information?" "It's not convenient to say it on the phone." "Then you go up to the top floor, come to the innermost office, and tell me face to face. Good. Evan hung up the phone and returned the phone to the front desk. Beauty, I'm going up. Evan pointed to the elevator nearby. The front desk lady nodded. A few minutes later, Evan arrived at Maria Hill's office. There are only other parties here, 260 people. Evan sat across from her. Good morning, Miss Hill. Tell me, Mr. Nelson, what information you brought us. Maria Hill crossed her arms and looked at the young man in front of her. Don't worry, I have another purpose here. I want to meet Miss Wanda Maximoff. Evan said. Her brother passed away not long ago, which made her a little autistic. Now she doesn't want to meet with outsiders. But as long as your intelligence is valuable enough, I can make the decision to let you meet. Maria Hill said. Evan nodded, and then talked about the information he brought. The death of Tony Stark's parents was not an accident, but a homicide. The person who killed his parents was the Winter Soldier James Buchanan Barnes, also known as Bucky in the Captain's Mouth. Bucky was brainwashed by the Hydra organization at the time, just did such a thing. But I think Mr. Tony Stark will not care about this. Once he knows the truth, he will definitely go to James Buchanan Barnes for revenge. I think that the captain will not turn a blind eye at that time. If this matter is not handled well and is used by someone with ulterior motives, it may lead to a split within the Avengers. How about this? What is the value of my piece of information? Chapter 118. Where did you get the information? Is the information accurate? Maria Hill's expression became serious. Evan did not answer directly, but said another thing. Not long ago, there was a man named Helmut Zima, who may be a Hydra member. Due to the Sokovia launch incident, his wife and children died at the hands of Ultron, so he was preparing to seek revenge on the Avengers. Revenge, and he happens to know the truth about the death of Tony Stark's parents. If I were him, I would definitely make a fuss about it, and if planned well, I could even make the Avengers kill each other. You're not a Hydra member, are you? Maria Hill looked suspicious. If I were Hydra, I wouldn't come here to tell you this information. Evan spread his hands. The main purpose of my coming here is to tell you this information, and the secondary purpose is to find Miss Wanda Maximoff. Why do you want to see her? Maria Hill asked. Evan's lies come out of his mouth. I am from Sokovia. During the Ultron incident, Miss Maximoff saved my family. I came here specifically to express my gratitude to her. Evan's acting skills are very good. When he says this sentence, his expression should be sincere and sincere. At least Maria Hill didn't see the problem from his expression. P.S. In order to distinguish the two Wandas, in the following third person, Crimson will be used to refer to Wanda in the original universe. A quarter of an hour later, Evan arrived at the door of Scarlet's suite at the Avengers Alliance headquarters and rang the doorbell. Not long after, the door was opened. But it was not Crimson who lived here who opened the door, but Vision. Maybe the mind gem on Vision's forehead has some kind of fate with Scarlet, which makes Vision very close to Scarlet. Vision has been comforting Guo Gao's dead worker in a clumsy way for a few days now. If Evan doesn't come, I'm afraid it won't be long before Crimson is accidentally captured by Vision. Who are you? Vision asked. My name is Evan Nelson, and I'm here to see Miss Maximoff. Is he at home? Evan asked. Evan didn't do anything to Vision, his love rival, because it wasn't necessary. Yes, please come in. Vision measured his body. Evan stepped in and saw Crimson sitting on the balcony, staring blankly out of the window. Scarlet is still immersed in the sadness of Pietro's death and has not been able to get over it. Evan walked over, came to her side, conjured up a seat, lowered it, and sat next to her. This method of creating things out of thin air caused Vision, who saw this scene, to fail to calculate the intelligent computing logic and almost crashed. Crimson, immersed in sadness, was attracted by the scene of creation. Advertisement. First time meeting, Miss Maximoff, I am Evan Nelson. Evan stretched out his hand and introduced himself to Scarlet. Looking at this new version of Scarlet, Evan always feels as if he is facing the same person. It is indeed a variant of Wanda from parallel time and space. There are too many similarities. My name is Wanda Maximoff. Scarlet shook hands with Evan and introduced herself. Evan pointed to the chair under him and asked her, are you curious how this thing appeared? Scarlet Hong is indeed curious. This kind of ability to create things out of thin air is not seen on ordinary days. Even Scarlet in a sad state will inevitably have such emotions as curiosity. This is secondary creation, it's magic. I can use it to create some simple things, like this. Evan stretched out his hand, and a red rose slowly appeared from scratch in his hand. He put the red rose handed to Wanda. Seeing that it was a red rose, she wanted to give it to herself, which made Hong Hong feel at a loss. Seeing that she didn't answer, Evan created a vase, inserted the red rose into it, and put it aside. Can I call you Wanda? Evan asked Scarlet. The latter nodded. Wanda, I know a magic that allows you to see the deceased. Do you want to try it? You mean I can see Pietro and Dad and Mom again? Right. Please let me meet them, here we are good. Evan turned on quantum observation, observed the past, and observed Wanda's parents who were not yet dead, as well as Wanda's brother Pietro from the past time period. Across time and space, he used the psychic super ability to read the memories of people in the past, used these memories to create 3 virtual personalities, and cast magic and real phantoms. Crimson's father, mother, and brother slowly emerged and were given virtual personalities. This makes the 3 real phantoms indistinguishable from the relatives in Crimson's cognition, and the memory level is also the same. Seeing these 3 people, Crimson rushed forward excitedly and hugged them tightly. Evan smiled slightly, stood up, and said to Vision who was almost dead behind him, "Give them space." Vision nodded and followed Evan out of here. As soon as the 2 walked out of Wanda's suite, they saw Maria Hill approaching. She said to Vision, "Vision, I need to use your network ability to help me investigate a person." Advertisement okay, Miss Hill. Phantom responded. Maria Hill looked at Evan again and asked, "Have you finished meeting her? She still needs some private space now. I'll come back to her later. Then I won't entertain you, you can take a stroll here by yourself." After Maria Hill finished speaking, she took Vision to the combat command room. Hill asked Vision to investigate information about Baron Zima from the internet. Vision is a more powerful robot than Ultron. He can roam the internet without any restrictions. He easily investigated a lot of information about Baron Zima. Indeed, as Evan said, Baron Zima's family members died at the hands of Ultron, who was a Hydra member. Hill then asked Vision to try to investigate the cause of death of Tony Stark's parents from the internet. Unfortunately, Vision is not omnipotent. Even Vision cannot investigate some information that is not recorded online. However, some cobweb horse traces found have also been able to prove that Tony Stark's parents did not die in an accident, but died of homicide. Thinking about the intelligence brought by Evan, Hill knew that this matter was not a trivial matter. If it was not handled well, big problems could easily arise. She pondered for a moment, then said to Huan, "Mo Dahao, help me contact the captain and ask him to come here." Okay. Half an hour later, the captain came. "What do you want from me, Hill?" Steve Rogers asked. "Steve, do you know the cause of death of Tony Stark's parents?" Maria Hill asked the captain. At this point in time, Steve Rogers didn't know about this yet, so he shook his head. Tony Stark's parents were probably killed by James Buchanan Barnes. Maria Hill told this piece of information. Steve Rogers was shocked after hearing this. Is this true? How could Bucky do such a thing? Not sure yet, but it's probably true. Can you still contact James Barnes now? I need you to confirm this from him. Okay, I'll contact him now. Steve Rogers nodded with a heavy heart. Obviously he also realized the seriousness of the problem. First update, please give me flowers. Chapter 119. Evan walked into Scarlet's suite again. At the moment, only Hong Hong was left in the room. The 3 real phantoms from before have said goodbye to Scarlet, saying they are going to heaven, and hope that Scarlet can live a good life in the human world. Compared with the beginning, Crimson at the moment is no longer so low pressure, and seems to have emerged from sadness. When she saw Evan coming in, she said to him, "Thank you, Evangelist." "You're welcome, do you want to go out for a walk?" "Yeah." Scarlet didn't refuse Evan's invitation. Evan took Crimson and teleported to the Hawaiian Islands. Where is this place? Crimson has never been to Hawaii and doesn't recognize where this place is. Here is Oahu, the busiest island in the Hawaiian Islands, and home to the state capital, Honolulu. Countless attractions can be found here, including Diamond Head Volcano, Waikiki Beach, Iolani Palace, and the world-famous surfing spots of the North Shore. The food here is also very good, especially fresh seafood and traditional heavy Hawaiian food. Evan said with a smile. It can take me to Hawaii in an instant. Isn't this magic? Scarlet was surprised. She didn't expect that Evan could take her from New York to Hawaii in an instant. I thought magic was just something in fairy tales. Then you think of me as the prince in the fairy tale. Then Miss Cinderella, do you want to take a walk with me here? Evan stretched out his hand to Scarlet. With a blush on her cheeks, she hesitated for a moment, and finally put her hand on Evan's hand. Evan successfully held Crimson's hand. The two walked hand in hand. Crimson's cheeks were very red, but she did not reject this feeling. Why are you so nice to me, even though we didn't know each other before today? Scarlet Hong asked the doubts in her heart. Since I'm so good to you, do you also want to be good to me? Evan asked. Advertisement Scarlet has a relatively introverted personality. She didn't know how to respond to this question and made a big blush. While Evan was dating Scarlet, Captain America contacted Bucky and confirmed from the other party that it was Bucky who killed Tony's parents. Maria Hill on the side, after verifying the correctness of the intelligence, immediately sent Captain America and Vision out to capture Baron Zemo. This matter must be kept secret and cannot be known to Tony Stark, otherwise the Avengers will there must be something wrong internally. Baron Zemo, the insider who is planning to cause trouble, must be controlled. But this is actually just a temporary measure. Some things may be exposed once they happen. It is best to think of a solution that can solve the problem once and for all. Otherwise, once Tony learns about the matter, it will be undesirable whether it is to prevent Stark from taking revenge or to help Stark kill Bucky. As for resolving hatred, Maria Hill didn't think that the hatred of killing relatives could be resolved so easily. Even if Bucky killed Tony's parents in a brainwashed state, it would be impossible to convince Tony to let go of his hatred. Fortunately, Tony Stark doesn't know about this yet and still has time to think about solutions to the problem. Maria Hill couldn't think of a good solution for the time being, so she contacted Natasha Romanoff and asked her to come up with a solution. Natasha Romanoff has been a killer, a spy, and an agent. She has rich life experience. She can think of a good solution, right? Natasha Romanoff came and Maria Hill told her about it. Natasha Romanoff wanted to roll her eyes. How do you ask her to think of a solution for this kind of thing? No matter how she tries to help with this kind of thing, she will easily become a human being and it will be completely thankless. Don't ask me, you should ask Fury at this time. That guy is cruel and evil, and he always has a lot of team tricks. Natasha Romanoff spread her hands. Since S.H.I.E.L.D disbanded, I haven't been able to contact Fury. He usually contacts me. Hill felt helpless. At this time, a third voice suddenly appeared in the office. I have a solution. Hill and Natasha Romanoff looked at the source of the sound at the same time. Hill recognized the speaker as Evan. How did the other party enter your office? Obviously the office door has not been opened. Advertisement. Could it be that the other party teleported in? The visitor is officially Evan, but it is not Evan himself, but the real phantom that Evan projected over from a long distance. Who is this? Natasha Romanoff asked Maria Hill. Aeg, he is Evan Nelson. He brought the information about the truth about the death of Stark's parents. Maria Hill introduced, and then she asked Evan, what can you do? James Buchanan Barnes, who killed Tony Stark's parents, was not an act of subjective will. Under this premise, some things can work. Evan's real phantom, walking aside, he sat down on the sofa and crossed his legs. Like? Natasha Romanoff asked him. For example, we can take action and kidnap Tony Stark, James Barnes, and Steve Rogers, lock the three of them together, and then show up as a mysterious person to reveal the truth to Tony Stark. In that case next, even if Tony Stark wants to seek revenge from James Barnes, he will definitely not be his opponent, and James Barnes will definitely not kill Tony Stark out of guilt for Tony Stark. Yes. The captain mediates and can temporarily alleviate the problem. Evan said. There's no point in doing this. Natasha Romanoff shook her head. Just doing this is definitely not enough. At this time, the mysterious man who is the mastermind behind the scenes should reveal his identity. The mastermind behind the scenes can be Ultron, because Ultron is likely to survive. We asked Vision to pretend to be Ultron, appear in front of the three people, say something in a revengeful tone, and then let Vision change into their appearance in front of them and tell them that he to frame them. Facing a common threat, the three of them had to stand together. At this time, Vision can leave as Ultron, and then let Vision go out and commit crimes as Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and James Barnes. There is no need to commit a big crime, even if it is to snatch a lollipop from a child. All kinds of crimes are fine. Then, as long as Vision controls the network of relevant departments, intercepts various orders, turns Tony, Steve, and Bucky into wanted criminals, and issues bounties against them on the black market, in short, it will make them unable to escape. There is no door to the ground. Evan paused for a moment when he said this. He looked at Natasha Romanoff and Hill and found that they were thoughtful and did not refute him, so he continued. Doing this will damage the reputation of your Avengers, so you need to find someone to take the blame. Vision only needs to constantly intercept various orders conveyed through communications from the upper levels and distort the orders. All he needs to do is let the top brass of the country know that the Avengers are innocent and that there is a mastermind behind all this. The three wanted men had no choice but to act together to clear their own grievances. In the process, Tony Stark's hatred for Bucky will gradually fade as they fight together. When the time is right, you can start whitewashing them. When Vision appears, it will reveal that the person who hijacked the network is the dead but still alive Ultron, letting Ultron take the blame. Vision monitors the entire internet on the grounds that Ultron will not cause trouble again. Stark, Captain, and Bucky were completely cleared. The reputation of the Avengers has been restored, all problems have been solved, and everything has been accomplished with one stone. Chapter 120. Evan's plan is finished. Maria Hill and Natasha Romanoff were stunned by his sinister plan. But you can't say that this plan is not good, because its feasibility is really very high. Natasha Romanoff twitched her lips, then rolled her eyes. Maria Hill thought for a moment, then nodded, it's a good plan, let's do it. You really plan to use his plan? Natasha Romanoff complained. Why not, unless you can think of a better way? Maria Hill shrugged. Then who are you going to let kidnap 3 people? Natasha Romanoff asked. Maria Hill looked at Evangelist. Don't look for me, I'm just an ordinary person. Evan pretended decisively. He was only here to make suggestions. If the person who made the suggestions became the main force, it would be contrary to the original intention. Since we want Vision to play Ultron, let Vision play the role of kidnapper. This can be regarded as playing the villain to the end. Maria Hill made the decision. Soon after, Vision and Captain captured Baron Zemo and imprisoned him. After the captain left, Hill called Vision and told Vision the plan. Vision used its intelligent core with strong logical thinking to analyze it and thought that the success rate of this plan was very high, so it nodded in agreement. Vision transformed into Ultron using the optical illusion ability that came with the Mind Gem. Vision was born out of Ultron, and for it to guest star in Ultron, there is absolutely no sense of dissonance. This made Evan, Natasha Romanoff, and Hill nod their heads, and they felt right. Just like that, Vision struck. Vision worked very efficiently. Before 8 o'clock that night, he knocked out Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and James Barnes and kidnapped them into an abandoned warehouse in the suburbs of New York City. Faintly, Tony Stark wakes up. He found himself tied up in a strange warehouse. In addition to him, there was Steve Rogers, and a man he didn't recognize even though he looked familiar. The two of them had woken up before him. Advertisement. What is this place? Why are we here? Tony Stark asked Captain America. Captain America shook his head and said he didn't know. At this time, a man wearing a grey and black hood and cloak walked into the warehouse and came to the 3 people who were tied up. It seems that Mr. Hood and Cloak is the culprit who kidnapped us. Tony Stark narrowed his eyes. This hooded and cloaked gentleman opened his mouth with a weird smile, just like the elder of the Soul Palace. GG, Tony Stark, it's been a long time no see. Who are you and why do you want to kidnap us? Captain America asked the hooded man. The hooded and cloaked man ignored Captain America and continued to face Stark. I lost last time, but this time, I learned your bad nature from humans, and I know what a conspiracy is and what a trick is. In order to get revenge on you, I prepared a stage for you. You will definitely be grateful to me. Yes, because I helped you find the real murderer of your parents. He is James Buchanan Barnes, codenamed the Winter Soldier. The hooded man pointed at Bucky. Tony Stark stiffened and immediately looked at Bucky. The latter lowered his head and did not refute. Captain America hurriedly said, Stark, calm down. How do you tell me to calm down, Steve? I thought this guy looked familiar before, James Buchanan Barnes. Isn't this your former teammate? Steve, tell me, do you know he is killing me? The murderer of my parents. I only found out today, but Bucky was not the culprit. He was brainwashed by the Hydra organization at that time. At that time, your father was discovered by Hydra precisely because he discovered that there might be a big problem within S.H.I.E.L.D. He launched an investigation into this and was arrested by Hydra. The brainwashed Bucky was sent to kill them and silence them. The Hydra organization was the culprit, and Bucky was just a brainwashed weapon. Don't tell me this, I only know that it was him who did it. Tony Stark's eyes turned red. He wanted to kill Bucky with his own hands to avenge his parents, but his body was tied up, which completely disturbed the people. Bucky didn't refute anything, just remained silent. It took a while for Tony Stark to calm down. At this time, the hooded man spoke again, Tony Stark, do you like the stage I have prepared for you, but this is just the beginning. Who the hell are you talking about? Tony Stark glared at the hooded man. The hooded man took off his hood, revealing the face of Ultron. Advertisement Captain America and Tony Stark were shocked at the same time. You're Ultron. It's me. To be honest, it's not easy to escape Vision's blockade. If I hadn't left a backup outside, I might have died. Zero, please give me flowers. Since then, I have been keeping a low profile, upgrading myself in a low-key manner, and learning from your human behaviors and habits, as well as the conspiracies and tricks in your bad nature. Although I disdain it, I have to deny that it is of great reference value. You look at my face. This is a new technology I have developed. I will use this technology to isolate you from human civilization and let you experience being the enemy of the whole world. This is the gift I give you, and it is also I have the utmost respect for you. While the hooded man who was suspected of being Ultron was speaking, his mechanical face changed, instantly turning into the look of Tony Stark, and then successively turned into the look of Captain America, and then the look of Bucky. The hooded man who looked like Ultron once again smiled like a Soul Palace elder, then turned and left. Steve Rogers and Tony Stark both felt bad. Could it be that Ultron was going to use their identities to commit crimes outside and then blame them? Damn it, someone can come and untie me. Tony Stark was anxious. Captain America and Bucky were silent, but both tried to break free. It took them a whole night to finally break free. Captain America went to help Tony Stark untie him again. Tony Stark regained his freedom, and then glared at Bucky, but did not go up to fight the murderer. Tony Stark is still very smart. He knows that without a steel battle suit, he is a weakling. In this case, dealing with the Winter Soldier will not end well at all. I swear, I will kill you. Tony gritted his teeth. Although I'm sorry, I won't just sit back and die. Although Bucky regretted what happened back then, he also wanted to continue living. At the moment, the outside world already has wanted notices for Tony, Captain America, and Bucky. The three people's crimes seemed serious, but in fact they were all framed. The three people were officially issued a wanted order, and it was a kind of death order. In fact, the official itself did not know when it issued such an order. On some black markets and killer websites, rewards were also posted for three people, regardless of life or death. Major media platforms have also begun to report that Captain America and Iron Man in the Avengers have committed crimes against humanity and have become wanted criminals. This immediately shocked the whole world. Chapter 121. Tony, Captain America, and Bucky, who had just escaped from the suburban warehouse, saw several police cars driving towards them with their sirens honking before they left for long. The policeman in the police car took out his pistol and opened fire on them as soon as he got out of the car, as if he didn't care about life or death. Number FL plus F equals these police officers are not real police officers, they are just criminals who were brainwashed with mind gem by Vision who was playing Ultron. Vision asked them to pretend to be police officers and open fire directly. The purpose was to give Tony Stark and others the perception that several of them had been given a kill order from above. The guns are all real, so are the bullets, and so are the guns. Only if you do it realistically enough will you be able to pass Sansi. The three of them were indeed deceived. They just opened fire without asking. Are we under a killing order? Tony Stark hurriedly found a bunker to hide. Captain America and Bucky began to fight back. With the cooperation of the two, most of the 780 policemen were knocked unconscious, and only one policeman was caught and interrogated by several people. The policeman who was interrogated said that the killing order was an order from the top management. As long as he killed them and brought back the bodies of a few people, he could receive a reward of 1 million yuan. Why did the higher-ups issue a death order to us? Captain America asked the police. Because you killed many of Big Shot's relatives. This incident obviously didn't happen, but Stark and others didn't know it. When Stark heard this, his face suddenly darkened. Damn Ultron, he actually caused such a big trouble by pretending to be them. Even if he jumped into the Potomac River, he wouldn't be able to clean it up this time. The three of them could only flee temporarily. Because there are bounties for 3 people on the black market and there are official bounties, many people are interested in the bounties. This has created a situation where the 3 of them can see enemies no matter where they go. Bucky aside, the wanted Tony and Captain America have been in the news of major media. Almost all news media around the world are reporting on this matter. Many citizens do not believe that Iron Man and Captain America committed a crime, thinking that this may be a frame-up. In fact, the top leaders of the Lighthouse Nation were also confused. They didn't issue an order to arrest Iron Man and Captain America. Why did the people below seem to have received their order? In order to find out what was going on, the top leaders of the Lighthouse country called their subordinates to ask, but the result was that their subordinates didn't know why. The top leaders of the Lighthouse Nation gradually realized that someone might have forged official orders and intercepted official communications to frame the Avengers. Although the official high-level officials also dislike the uncontrolled Avengers, being exploited by unknown forces has touched the bottom line of the high-level officials. Advertisement as a result, the higher UPS began to order the cancellation of the wanted order, but all the orders they issued through communications would be intercepted by Ultron, disguised as Vision, and forged into false orders. The people below would only receive the higher UPS comments on Iron Man, Captain America, and Bucky. Killing order. The orders from the top can't be conveyed at all. Want to convey commands correctly? Can. Just go to your subordinates in person and verbally convey the order, and there will be absolutely no problems. Executives were aware that their communications had been cut off. In a world where all wireless communication methods are intercepted and tampered with, they are extremely careful. This is definitely a major cybercrime incident. And here at Avengers headquarters, Nada Falcon, Menchie, Wanda, Mary Hill, and others all looked very anxious. Definitely the only ones who are really upset are Falcon and Wanda, the rest are insiders who are just pretending to be upset. Falcon wants to support Cap and Stark. Vision said, the official has issued a notice to us, asking us Avengers not to leave here, otherwise we will be regarded as criminals. But Captain and Iron Man were obviously framed. Falcon became anxious. We all know that, so we can't mess up. I'm investigating the truth of the incident from the internet. Please give me some time. Vision said. Who says robots can't lie? Vision can. Vision at the moment is monitoring Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and James Barnes through various channels. The 3 people were still running around. Maria Hill nodded to Natasha Romanoff on the side. The latter understood and said to Vision, find a way for me to contact the captain and the others. Vision said, they fled to a small town at the moment and were about to pass a phone booth. Captain America, Stark, and Bucky came to a small town, and at the moment all 3 of them had gone through certain disguises. Advertisement. Although their disguise methods are very unprofessional, as long as they are not seen at close range, it is still not easy to see their true identity. Among the 3 people, at least 2 were in a very bad mood. They have been working so hard to protect this country, but this country issued a killing order to them without asking. If it had been anyone else, I'm afraid they would have had to do it on the spot. Black and Zero. Tony Stark, who was exhausted both physically and mentally, no longer had the energy to be hostile to Bucky, his murderer. Encountering danger along the way, Bucky came to help many times, which caused Tony Stark to have conflicting emotions. When they passed a phone booth, the phone suddenly rang. Realizing something, Tony Stark quickly got into the phone booth and answered the phone. Natasha Romanoff's voice rang on the phone. I'm Natasha Romanoff. Listen Stark, we already know that you have been framed. You are in a very dangerous situation now. I have a safe house in a city not far from your town. There are sufficient supplies there. The address is, you go there and hide for a while, during this time we will help you find out the truth as soon as possible. I just want to know how Pepper is doing. Is he not involved in this matter? Tony Stark asked. She's fine. You should pay more attention to yourself. You and the captain have made headlines around the world. Damn, I don't want to be famous like this. After hanging up the phone, Tony Stark and others went to the next city, got into Natasha Romanoff's safe house there, and hid temporarily. Faced with a situation where the whole world is their enemy, they can only hide and let other Avengers investigate the truth of the matter. Little did they know, this safe house was prepared by Natasha Romanoff in advance, and 1.3 some rather inconspicuous surveillance was installed here. At the moment Vision is observing the three people through these monitors. Time gradually came to the evening of the day. Natasha Romanoff, S.H.I.E.L.D, and Vision are together. S.H.I.E.L.D asked Vision, how's Stark and Bucky's relationship going? After facial expression analysis, Mr. Tony Stark has been able to face Mr. James Barnes relatively rationally, and the probability of him forgiving the latter has reached 43%. It's not enough, let's wait a little longer. Maria Hill said. We can maintain the status quo at most until dawn tomorrow. If it is not over by then, the probability of accidents will greatly increase. Vision said the results of his analysis. Then create some surprises for them. Maria Hill said. Poor Stark. Natasha Romanoff shook her head sympathetically. Chapter 122. Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and James Barnes arrived at Natasha Romanoff's safe house. This safe house has everything, not only new identity documents, but also various weapons, disguise props, and encrypted phones. Steve Rogers wanted to use an encrypted phone to contact other Avengers, but was stopped by Tony Stark. Our enemy is Ultron. Encrypted communication is not easy to use. Using it to call ordinary people's unencrypted mobile phones will only expose our location. Are we going to sit back and wait for death? Steve Rogers frowned. Absolutely not. Tony Stark snorted, we still have Vision, and Vision will only be more powerful than Ultron. As long as Vision knows the truth, we can make a comeback. As he spoke, he picked up the encrypted phone and dialed the call directly into Vision's system. If you call Vision, Ultron won't be able to listen. The call was answered instantly. Vision, the captain, and I were framed. The situation is like this. TONY08. Stark quickly told Vision what happened to him and the captain, and then added, I need you to monitor the network and help I investigate the truth about how we were framed. Okay, Mr. Stark. Vision said. Tony Stark hung up the phone and said to the two of them, now we just have to wait. But before long, a killer appeared nearby. These killers were all killers who received the task of killing Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and James Barnes from the black market. They also obtained information about the target location from the mysterious man. Bucky's ears suddenly moved in the safe house, and then they suddenly exploded, pushing Tony Stark down next to him. Before Tony Stark could react to what was happening, he saw a crater appear with a bang where he was just now. He realizes there is a killer. Several people hurriedly avoided the blind corner of the window. Bucky said, it's a sniper rifle. The number of enemies is unknown. We have to get out of here. There is an escape passage under the safe house, let's go there. Captain America said. Okay. After Bucky said that, he picked up Stark and, under the cover of Captain America, took the lead in getting into the safe passage, followed closely by Captain America. Advertisement Avengers Alliance Headquarters, Vision to Natasha Romanoff and S.H.I.E.L.D, our goal has been basically achieved. Then let's start finishing. Already doing it. I'm going to support them. Natasha Romanoff immediately ran upstairs, then drove the Quinjet to pick up the captain and Stark. Black market bounty missions and official wanted orders all disappeared at the same time, as if they had been wiped out by antivirus programs. Even official department communications returned to normal at this moment. Maria Hill in the Avengers Alliance immediately contacted the official department and pointed the culprit of the incident at Ultron. She informed the top management that Ultron was still alive and that the previous series of events were Ultron's revenge on Tony Stark. Maria Hill also explained to the top officials of the official department that Vision is currently taking over the internet, and Vision acts as a firewall to prevent the unknown Ultron from continuing to cause trouble. Actually, human official departments do not want Vision to take over the entire internet, because this means that all networks and communications will have no privacy in the future, but if this is not done, the threat of Ultron cannot be ignored. Officials had no choice but to temporarily agree to let Vision be responsible for monitoring the network. This undoubtedly gives the Avengers a huge benefit, because Vision can monitor the entire network without any scruples, and the Avengers can more easily obtain more intelligence. Tony Stark and Captain America were quickly cleared. As for Bucky, it's probably unclear. But due to this incident, at least Tony Stark can look at the problem more rationally when facing Bucky, the murderer of his family. Although there are still a lot of troubles in the follow-up, in short, this is a happy ending. The only real insiders of this matter are Maria Hill, Natasha Romanoff, Evan, and Vision. At the moment, Maria Hill is sitting in the office with Evangelist. Although the matter has been solved perfectly, there are still hidden dangers. Once the truth is exposed, the Avengers will completely lose credibility in the eyes of the citizens. Maria Hill said. You want to say that I have become a safety risk to you, right? Evan rolled his eyes. Yes, you are now a security risk to the Avengers. Hill did not shy away from talking about this. Then what are you going to do, kill me and silence me? That's not all. I heard Vision mention you. It said you have some very strange magical abilities. If you want to consider joining the Avengers, I can be your introducer. Maria Hill asked. In Maria Hill's view, people like Evan who want both ability and brains are very suitable to become a member of the Avengers. Advertisement. It's better not to give it up. I can teach Wanda some magic. She has this ability, so that Wanda can master more abilities, which will also be helpful to you. Are you going to accept her as your disciple? I'm pursuing her. I see. In the Crimson Suite. Evan is here again. When Scarlet saw Evan coming, she immediately stood up and asked, Evan, yesterday you said you were going to teach me magic. Can you start now? Definitely, but not here. Evan stepped forward, took Crimson's hand, and led her into the villa on Malibu Beach in the public area of the game world. 997. Most of today's players have not returned in the exploration dungeon and are unlikely to return in the next few days, so the game world is still relatively deserted. There is no one else in Evan's home. Evan plans to train Scarlet here, and then introduce Scarlet to Wanda when she comes back. This is Scarlet Hong observed here, and she also found that the game panel appeared in her field of vision. This is the world of imaginary numbers created by me and using game templates. It is also my home. Crimson didn't understand. Evan continued, I have given you permission. You can enter and leave this place anytime and anywhere in the future. You can try it. Scarlet nodded. She found the button to exit the game on the game panel and clicked it. Immediately, she returned from the game world to her original reality, which was her suite in the Avengers Alliance building of the original universe. After exiting the game, Crimson discovered that although there was no longer a game panel in her field of vision, there was still an option to log into the game. She clicked to log into the game. Then, she entered Evan's home in the game world's public area Malibu Beach again. She thought it was amazing. Chapter 123. This place in the game world aroused Crimson's curiosity. She asked Evan a lot about things here, and Evan answered them patiently for her. Evan took Crimson and walked around several public areas in the game world. While wandering around, Scarlet Hong discovered from the game panel that the name of the dungeon looked familiar. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Thor 1, Captain America 1, Avengers 1, Iron Man 3, Thor 2, Doctor Strange 1, Captain America 2, Avengers Alliance 2, Spider-Man 1, Ant-Man 1, Guardians of Galaxy 1, Guardians of Galaxy 2. Are these copies depicting real-life stories? Scarlet asked Evangelist. Yes, if you are interested, you can go in and experience it later. Yet. Scarlet Hong expressed her expectation, and then she asked a question that she was more concerned about. I found some girls' things in your house before. Do you have a girlfriend? You may not believe it when I tell you. Not only is my girlfriend's name the same as yours, she's also called Wanda Maximoff. Even your looks are the same. The crimson forehead is full of question marks. Evan gave her some popular science about the concepts of parallel time and space variance and multi-universe. Crimson is in a trance. Evan is actually a visitor from parallel time and space. And the other person is his transformed boyfriend? Seeing that Crimson was stunned, Evan continued, a few days ago, I discovered the existence of your world and your existence through quantum observation. At that time, I felt a little awkward when I saw you and Vision together, so I planned to fight with each other and went there to find you. This it is the antecedent. Then you'd better give me a satisfactory consequence, otherwise I will be very angry. Evan, who was blushing straight, looked like I might blacken you at any time. Be my student from now on, and I will be responsible for teaching you magic knowledge and making you a powerful witch. Then what if I want to fall in love with someone else in the future? Then I will continue to beat the Mandarin ducks. UBD. Crimson. Advertisement. In the next few days, Evan did not go to the authentic universe again. Whenever Scarlet is free, she will log into the game world and come to Evan to learn magic. In the evening, Kayla will also come, but Scarlet will leave before night, so Kayla has not seen Scarlet. Until 4 days later. Wanda, Gwen, Judy, and most of the players finally returned from a magical world. Probably because they hadn't seen each other for a long time, as soon as Wanda and Gwen came back, under Judy's resentful eyes, they took Evan back to the bedroom to talk about old times. After finishing, Evan looked a little tired and said, "Tell me about your experiences during this time." The two women began to tell each other about their experiences in that magical world. In fact, there is nothing much to say, it is nothing more than an adventure experience in a magical world. Except an adventure is an adventure. Judy rolled her eyes when she heard the love sound coming from upstairs. She sat on the sofa in the living room and took out some of her gains in the magical world from the storage space. Most of them are some more magic props. These are the treasures she collected in that world. In fact, not only Judy is collecting these things, but other players, such as S.H.I.E.L.D players and Avengers players, have also collected many magic props. These things were not valuable in that magical world and belonged to the category of daily necessities, but in this world dominated by technology, they have considerable research value. Judy, who has learned enchantment from Evan, can see that the enchantment technology on these magic props is not the same technology as the enchantment that Evan taught her, but the two technologies are compatible with each other, complement each other, and achieve better effects. When Judy was in that magical world, she not only took risks and collected magic props, she also learned the enchanting technology of that world through various channels, and she learned some of the essence. Nowadays, she can be regarded as an enchanter to some extent. She organized these things and put them all in her room, planning to study them later. She left the bedroom and came to the living room again. Although it was already night, she was not sleepy now because she had rested before returning. Just when she was about to go out for a walk, she suddenly found someone appearing in the house out of thin air. "That's Wanda?" Advertisement? No, the temperament is different. "Who are you?" she asked the other person. "My name is Wanda Maximoff, who are you?" "Wanda number 2. No 2. Crimson was confused. "Ahem, I mean, you are Wanda from parallel time and space, right?" Crimson nodded. "Hello, I am Judy Alvarez, Evan's sister." Judy introduced herself, and then she asked Scarlet, "Which parallel time and space are you from?" "Even if you ask that, I don't know how to distinguish different time and space." Scarlet Hong was a little troubled. "Then tell me the story of your world," Judy asked, gossiping. Scarlet Hong told her some stories about what happened in her world, as well as the story of her acquaintance with Evan. She lectured for 2 hours. Judy listened silently. After listening to it, Judy approached Hong Hong with a smirk and asked, "You like my brother, right?" Who likes him? He already has a girlfriend, and there is more than one," Scarlet Red said with an unnatural expression. Apparently Evan had already told her these things. "You don't have to deny it. I know the other you and am very familiar with your character. If you really like Evan, I have a way, TNGs, to get you together." What can I do?" Scarlet Hong asked subconsciously, and after asking, he quickly added, "I'm just asking casually. You can integrate with another you, body with body, soul with soul. You can complete yourself while retaining yourself. In that state, although you only have one consciousness left, you will still have a sense of yourself. Integrate the other person's feelings." Judy came up with a bad idea. Crimson really thought about this matter seriously. "After integrating, will you really not lose yourself?" "Absolutely not. Let's try it first. I know an integrate magic that allows two people to temporarily integrate together and burst out with stronger power. But the integration time cannot exceed 24 hours, otherwise they will not be able to separate. You can experience it first this way." 17 Then, let's try profit. "Well, come on." Chapter 124. Judy taught Scarlet a set of moves that looked like gymnastics. This set of actions is the precursor to the combination magic. When Scarlet learned it, the two of them did this set of moves together, and then something magical happened. The two bodies actually really fit together and integrated into one piece. After merging, the appearance of the two people has changed slightly, and they have the same characteristics as Scarlet and Judy. They do not feel that they are controlled by the other person or that they control the other person. They feel that they are themselves. Both of them feel this way, which is not subtle, because they are the same person at the moment. Memory sharing, soul sharing, body sharing, even personality and consciousness are shared states. This is a very strange state. The two of them stayed in this state and played for a few minutes before the combination was released. Although the state is lifted, the memories they gained from each other still exist. It turns out your past was so rough. Crimson looked at Judy in surprise. Your past was worse than mine. Judy was also surprised. Because they merged once and had memories of each other, the two of them became the people who knew each other best in the world, and their relationship instantly rose to the level of best friends. Time gradually came to 2009-6015. According to the normal timeline, this year will take place the stories of Captain America 3, Civil War, Black Widow, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Homecoming and the first half of Doctor Strange, but due to Evan's intrusion in the Marvel superhero game, the story of Black Widow and Doctor Strange ended prematurely. As for whether the story of Civil War and the return of the hero will happen, that depends on the situation. It is worth mentioning that Wanda already knows about Crimson's existence, and has merged with her to share memories. Perhaps the two of them are transformed from each other, so no matter how long they stay in the combined state, they can successfully release this state. As expected, Scarlet became Evan's girlfriend. Whenever she was with Evan, she would merge with Wanda. Whenever she was about to leave, she would disintegrate and return to the original universe alone. Advertisement. To be honest, this kind of relationship is very strange, but everyone has adapted to it. Now, Evan thinks it's time to update the game again. This time it is necessary to create a new map that only the Evans family can enter as their private world. At 12 noon that day, the game announcement was released. The Marvel superhero game will undergo upgrade maintenance, during which players will not be able to log into the game. This upgrade maintenance will last for 3 days. The updated content of this version is as follows: 1. Open a new copy, Captain America 3, Civil War, Black Widow, Spider-Man, Homecoming and Black Panther 2. Open a new public area, Crimson Magic Academy 3. Fix some bugs. Evan wants to connect the Marvel and Tri-Solaris universes to a certain extent in the Crimson Magic Academy in the game. The above are only the announced updates. There are also hidden updates. Evan created a new area in the game world that only his family can enter, Sky Island. As soon as the game entered the update state, some players who were still online were kicked out of the game. Only those who are close to Evan can continue to log into the game during game maintenance. These people include Wanda, Gwen, Abigail, Kayla, Judy Law, Shadowcat Katie, Scarlet, etc. The first time the game entered the update state, Evan received a message from Shadowcat Katie. Kathleen Pride, Shadowcat Katie, why did you update the game without asking me for advice? Have you forgotten me? Evan Nelson, is this just a regular update, or do you have a better idea? Kathleen Pride, Shadowcat Katie, not yet, but can I invite some people into your game world? Evan Nelson, who do you want to invite? Kathleen Pride, Shadowcat Katie, everyone in X-Men. Evan Nelson, next time, I will consider it when I update next time. Advertisement. Wanda, Gwen, Kayla, Laura, Judy and others approached Evan one after another and asked her if she had created a private world that only belonged to them. I'm not an amnesiac. I definitely still remember this. Let's go over and take a look now. Evan led everyone to a new area that only they could enter. The Sky Island. This area is not connected to other areas. This place has its own time dilation effect. One day in the outside world can pass 30 years here. This island in the sky is relatively large and has a great environment. It has mountains, waterfalls, and lakes. The environment is beautiful and the air is fresh. It is an excellent place to live in seclusion. Evan took everyone here to visit and looked for a suitable place to build a residence. After wandering around for a while, they found the right place. This is a quiet bamboo forest in the center of the Sky Island. Everyone uses their own methods to build a love nest here. Not long after, the bamboo building made of bamboo was freshly baked. The bamboo building is simple and elegant, very stylish. From now on, everyone will no longer live in the public area in Malibu Beach, at least not all the time. This will be everyone's new residence. Living in this small world where no one will disturb you, just thinking about it makes people full of expectations. This is already 1 week after Evan's family stayed here, Sky Island time. During the day, Wanda was sitting alone on the edge of the Sky Island. At the moment, Wanda is in a state of fusion with Crimson. In this state, Wanda's ability in certain aspects will be greatly improved, and she can even sense multi-universe and vaguely sense her peers in different parallel time and space. Wanda is trying to communicate with her peers. As time passed, gradually, her consciousness successfully connected to a peer in a certain parallel time and space, and took over control of the other person's body. Her current behavior is a bit like a magic called dream walking in the Book of Darkness. Although the process is different, the effect achieved is the same. Chapter 125. The same person. Wanda opened her eyes. She was in a state where Wanda had taken over her body at the moment. Wanda is silently digesting the memory of this body. This person is also called Wanda and has the same appearance, but the world she lives in is very different from the Marvel movie universe. There are no Avengers in this world, but there are mutants, Inhumans, Fantastic Four, and the Illuminati. The parents of this person are not Maximoff and his wife, but Magneto and Magda. She is a mutant and a witch. She joined Magneto's mutant brotherhood and later left. After that, she lived a low-key life in the city incognito. Wanda gradually digested her memories, and then began to feel the super ability that the X gene brought to this body. That's the super ability that can modify probability. The function of ability is to make things that are 100% likely to happen, or to make things that are 100% likely to happen never happen again. In essence, this is also alter reality. If origin magic power can be added to this ability, the effect will be qualitatively changed, and the ability of alter reality will be even stronger. Wanda controlled reality across time and space, copying the X gene bloodline from this peer to her own body, and also gained the super ability to control probability. Wanda regards this as her own way of practice and allows herself to grow. After a while, Wang Yin stopped controlling the parallel time and space body. At the same time, she also released the state of fusion with Crimson. Crimson separated from her body. The two felt themselves at the same time and found that each other had gained the super ability to control probability. Because they are often together and their memories are often shared, Wanda and Scarlet have a strange ability. They can sense each other's thoughts even if they don't speak. In the past, Evan always helped them and gave them a lot of good things. Now that they have become very powerful, they just want to give Evan something. The two communicated at a conscious level and quickly made a decision. Advertisement. They entered the combined state again, then left here and went to the original universe. Through the Prince's reset method, they ignored the distance and path, instantly crossed the distant distance, and arrived at the Nova Legion headquarters in the Andromeda Galaxy. Xandar Star. From here, they stole the Cosmic Spirit Ball that Star-Lord left here, and obtained the Power Gem from the Cosmic Spirit Ball. Then they returned to the game world, Island in the Sky, found a remote place, and used the Power Crystal Gem to conduct real-life experiments. Transformation. Under normal circumstances, infinite gems will lose their effect if they leave their original universe. But Wanda used origin magic power to modify the rules of this gem so that it can exert its due power anywhere. Power gems contain endless cosmic energy, which can give living creatures super abilities in various physical systems. In the Marvel world, many superheroes' super abilities are related to cosmic energy. For example, the ability of the Fantastic Four and the ability of the Eternals. Theoretically, as long as you hold this gem, you can simulate those abilities. This is not just a comic setting. In fact, the Power Stone in the Marvel movie universe also has this setting. However, the Power Stone is like a high-voltage switch. Not many people can keep their bodies intact after touching it. Under the influence of origin magic power, the Power Stone no longer looks like a gem, it becomes a bracelet. While it has no side effects, it allows the wearer to master powerful power and simulate various physical super abilities. Wanda named it the Super Ability Bracelet. She put it on and tried the effect. After confirming that there was no problem, she went to the lakeside of Sky Island and found Evan, who was practicing cross-legged practice here. Hearing footsteps approaching, Evan stopped practicing, opened his eyes, and saw Wanda coming. "Evan, I have a gift for you. Why did you suddenly think of giving me a gift? You have always given me things before, but I have never given them to you," Wanda said as she took out the super ability bracelet and handed it to Evangelist. Evan took it, felt it carefully, and discovered the essence of this thing. "0, please give me flowers. This is the Power Stone." Advertisement. "Well, I turned the Power Gem into something like this. As long as you wear it, you can simulate all forms of physical super abilities. Come and try it," Wanda said expectantly. Evan put it on and quickly figured out how to use it. He tried to use this super ability bracelet to simulate the speed force that only exists in the DC plane next door. In an instant, lightning with lightning speed surrounded him. In his eyes, the whole world became almost motionless in super slow motion. Evan originally just wanted to give it a try, but he didn't expect that he actually succeeded. After releasing the copycat speed force, Evan smiled and said, "I love this gift." That night, during dinner, I went back to the outside world before. My mother wanted to know when we would have a baby, but I didn't want to have a baby. Gwen was a little distressed. The purpose of human beings to reproduce the next generation is to continue the race, but if the individual has if you can live forever, then it is not necessary to reproduce offspring. As a result, Gwen was complained by Laura, "That's very good, but don't say it again, otherwise I'll feel like I'm being charged for your phone bill. You can turn into a baby and pretend to be Gwen's child, and be taken back to see Grandma by Gwen," Judy said with a wicked smile. Laura showed a dead fish-eye expression. She noticed that Evan was distracted, so she decisively changed the subject. "Dad, what are you thinking about?" Before Evan could speak, Kayla said, "Maybe the rotation of the Earth distracted him." Evan said speechlessly, "First of all, this is not the Earth, and there is no rotation. Secondly, I am thinking about holding an official event in the game world, with rewards, so that all players can participate." After hearing what he said, Judy, Wanda, Laura, Kayla, Gwen and others all became interested. Everyone discussed this matter. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.